going live. Wow, that was such a great episode of Doctor Who. That was like so stunning and brave. I feel like I have been educated. I know more about the environment today than I did yesterday because Jodie Whittaker told me to be better. She told me to be better. Starry-eyed girl and Bulls Trek. Welcome.
Hi.
Everybody.
Hello.
Let me begin by saying, what the fuck did I just watch? I can't even do the sarcasm. That was the worst. And Gary told me I could swear.
Yes.
That was the worst fucking episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. And it's written by the same guy that wrote the previous worst episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. It was holy shit. We'll get into it, but what the fuck did I just watch? Starry-eyed girl, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. Well, from what I can gather, I've made a couple of notes. It started off being Paradise Towers, then turned into Love and Monsters, and then we've got a good measure of Utopia, but really, really badly done. And then a speech at the end.
We were waiting for a big Jodie speech, right? You know,
we got it.
We got our defining Jodie speech, 13th Doctor, Lucky 13.
Guys, I just feel so empowered. You know, I didn't know I had all this power, you know, to be a better person and save planets instead of destroying them. I didn't know that until today, so thank you, Jodie.
Well, we don't want to become dregs, as in dregs of society, because we're the dregs.
We are, and you can, as a woman, Starry-eyed girl, you can both be stunning and brave and dangerous because you can build bombs too. Yeah. Women can destroy too, you know, which is good. Yes. So we, are for one, of course. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. I see that in there. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. I meant to talk to you about this. You being, you know, Canadian, of course, you know about Rush.
Oh yeah.
That was a sad day. One of my major influences in life. How'd you feel about it, Bulls Trek?
I think he's one of the best, if not the best, drummers in history. Rush themselves, one of the most technically advanced bands, I think, in history as well. They had and Canadian, so go Canada. They had officially retired back in 2018, so we weren't going to get any more music. But this is just a devastating loss. And I don't know, Gary, what is your favorite Rush album?
My favorite, Moving Pictures. That's basic, but I like it. I also Subdivisions. That's probably my favorite song. Subdivisions. That and Trees. I mentioned that I listened to Trees for 6 hours straight on acid. Each time I listened to it, and I'm not joking, I did. I heard something different in each time. Now this was back in the 80s, but I freaking loved Rush. One of my best friends got me into them, and I just got addicted. Listened to nothing but Rush for like 2 years. And Neil Peart was Peart or Peart. I always say Peart, so I'm American. I'm dumb. Was one of my. I am a drummer, so I haven't played in a long time, but of course I'm gonna love Neil Peart. So very sad.
No, I discovered Rush with Counterparts in 1993. Stick It Out, and just that riff. That's to this day. How long ago was that? 27 years ago. Still my favorite Rush album, and over the years has become one of my favorite albums of all time. But it's times are changing. We don't get bands like this anymore.
No,
which sucks.
No.
A band that can play has 4 songs on an album. You know, and I love the early stuff. I even like some of the stuff before Neil showed up. Yeah, but 2112, and I got it all. I've seen them 8 times. So it was an honor to see them play. And Geddy Lee's, just a master at the bass and so many other things. And but Neil was like a great lyricist too. He was just such a great lyricist. Yeah. So that was the good. I'm sorry he's gone. That was. But now we have to talk about really, really bad television. And it's sad. I'm going to start out with it being sad. Okay, I'm sure you guys heard the tomfoolery that was going on with the ratings are going down. Rotten Tomatoes removed the audience score reset the audience score, and I do believe it went back down again. Now I haven't verified that. I will before we go. But
They Captain Marveled it. Actually, I'm going to take a look and just
they
see.
did.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
here I had some. I will bring up my Twitter because I retweeted. My memory is trash, so I'm sorry. This is why I have to write notes for everything.
Oh crap! Doctor Who season 12 audience score is at 8%.
8%.
8%. Critics 87. Audience 8%.
Let's get this up there.
oh my God.
That is hilarious.
Well, that backfired.
Sheila Allen tweeted at me that score, and holy Christ, let's share that with the world. We are the world. Here we go. Little we can keep this up here for a little while. I think that's fair.
Yep.
I think that's fair. I think we can just look at that for a little while and let it soak in as we discuss the worst. Yes, Ed Himes. Ed Himes was the one writer who has actual genre experience.
Yep.
On this writing staff. So it all goes downhill from here, folks. Okay, so I have my notes. What sucks is before I went live, Bolstrek just gave the best description that nobody will ever see of this episode. I was in stitches. Sorry, I was in stitches. But let's go over the episode a little bit. Again, written by the late great Ed Himes, who again supposedly has genre experience. The Doctor's in a bad mood, everybody. That's how they address the last two episodes. And this,
yeah, she's in a bad mood. She's bitchy. Gallifrey has been destroyed again. And yeah. Oh yeah. Don't forget.
Can I? Yeah, a family show. This is what made me think of Love and Monsters, you see, as well. But we'll get into that with the. I didn't realize it was their mating season. Well, I thought Doctor Who was just for kids, but what do I know?
You silly adult. You silly adult. Yeah, I guess, before we get into the episode, we do need to discuss Gallifrey is gone again. I haven't talked about it with you guys. I think it was just a cheap way of trying to bring back the Time War, and then, they're going to find a way to make this about the patriarchy. I am convinced. Colonialism, the patriarchy, whatever they do, they're going to come in and appropriate some little girl's power or some race's power. And I am aware of the Time Lord history prior to Rassilon, and I know, and I because people are going, well, they've already kind of done that with the Sister of Current. Well, no, not really. I mean, they did, but that was before the Time Lord Society started up with Rassilon. But we're going off of his history, so they're going to make him the ultimate toxic male in the universe. And by the way, he's still out there. Yes. But we do need to acknowledge Matrix Lord is the one who caught this, that I didn't, and none of us did.
No, I didn't.
No.
So why don't you tell us, Bolster? Because I found it out through you. So.
If you look at the episode of Hellbent, which I haven't watched Hellbent since it aired, because that's around the time Doctor Who went to shit. Bad episode, but another story altogether. But at the end of the episode, they're still in a pocket universe, but they're at the end of our universe. So basically, they're hiding. So they're not in this separate pocket universe anymore. But if you watch the episode, because Chibs apparently didn't watch the episode either, they're still in the pocket universe. And now, most of us didn't catch it. Matrix Lord, I think in terms of Doctor Who lore, is probably one of the most versed people I've ever seen. But Chibs is running the show. So one would think he would have at least done his research and looked into that, but he didn't. So that, and in addition to all the other problems with that episode, that's just something that at the end, like that last 5 minutes, just completely destroys Doctor Who. And that plot hole just was the icing on the cake. And I think Matrix Lord himself said in his video, now we can decanonize this entire era of Doctor Who because it didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. What are your feelings on that, Starry?
They're totally going to do it. As soon as the Master uttered the Founding Fathers, there's Yeah, everything, the patriarchy and the can't say it, colonialism, they're going to do it. It what makes me laugh is just how easy it is suddenly to just nick to Gallifrey now. Doesn't matter that it took years and years the Doctor searching, but so
Yeah.
you can just pop back and then go for a holiday to a spa. But
right afterwards, we spent the entire new series getting. I mean, the 50th anniversary episode led up to that. You know what? Jodie could have really been helped by a Time Lord society, making her part of this somehow. No, this is just a cheap way to bring back the Time War because they don't know what to do with the Time Lords. By the way, who are all fucking safe. Excuse my language, but I went back after I heard that on your guys' great live stream yesterday. And by the way, when this is all done, I'll link it in the description. Bolstrek, Starry, Noel, and I'm sorry, it was Blue Bonnet Hoovian.
Blue Bonnet Hoovian.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was great. That was a really good live stream, so I highly recommend you watch it. I went and watched the episode again, and Rassilon is safe, and the entire Time Lord Council is safe because the Doctor exiled him. So all the Master killed what was left. I don't know. The poor people in the hut where the Doctor grew up, and where Clara told him that everything is okay after a bad dream, which I fucking hate that episode. And it's so I don't know where they're going with this. And honestly, I'm with you guys. I am rooting like hell for the Master to win at this point. It's hard to do that when he's not in every episode. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the Master was written terribly.
Yes.
But Sasha's he's a decent actor if you look at some of the other things he's been in. But yeah, this was the one time that I was, and it wasn't a joke. I was legitimately rooting for the Master. Of course, we know he's not going to win, but every time I won't swear anymore, F's up. It's like, God damn it, dude. You had all these chances. Just kill her and get it over with. And then there's other rumors that they're actually the opposite. And it's it's now down to 7%.
Oh, let me refresh.
Wow.
They're gonna nick this thing again.
Yep.
They're gonna nick this thing. Oh, what? Oh, hang on. It's not letting me refresh. I'm gonna have to stop sharing it and then go back. Well, that sucks.
I had to go back to the Google search and reload it that way. So I think there's some funny business going on right now.
There's major funny business going on.
Yeah, they're doing something.
Yep. Because they are. Well, I'm going to put the 8% back up again just because I want to. They deserved it. Listen, I'm mad about this. So, Doctor Who is not great for the algorithm right now.
Nope.
I would probably be better off not doing Doctor Who videos. They don't perform half as well as anything else I do. Whether that's lack of interest, algorithm. I think it's lack of interest. I think apathy is completely set in with the show. I think anybody who is still hanging on are people who freaking are still pissed like us. And then there's like the Whovians who just it says Doctor Who on it, and they'll just lap up anything that says Doctor Who on it. I think if you're a fan of be whatever fan you want to be. This is how I approach it. I'll use my I statements. I'm a somewhat critical thinker. I'm not hardcore on canon. Okay, you can mess with stuff as long as you're not doing it to push a personal agenda and you're not willing to lay waste to 50 years of mythos to get a topic that will be something no more than a trend. And before we get into the whole global warming thing, listen, littering is bad. Carbon emissions are bad. I don't want my earth to burn. I don't care. But there's also other things that need to be considered. And we are doing the best we can, but a lot of that preachiness goes towards the poor elitists. It's the poor people who can't afford their nice electric cars and stuff. And I wear a Tesla fucking thing. It's just because I work there. So you're coming off looking like, what the hell? No, thanks. No, thanks.
Oh, no, that would have been a great opportunity, actually.
Yeah, I should have. Damn it. Oh, well. So fucking preachy. It's ridiculous. And that's the point we're trying to make is you're throwing away this show. We used to look forward to a good doctor speech. We just got Jodie's defining, which we'll get into. They've destroyed Gallifrey again. And we were being warned. I was warned by insiders. We were being warned by Access Media articles saying that they were going to do this. They're going to muck around in the Time Lord's past. They are. And I'm not surprised. What they do, I guess it doesn't really matter. I think there's so much damage done to this show. I don't know if it can recover. And now I'm just going to chronicle its demise. And I'm mad. I'm mad.
That's what I'm doing.
Yep. Because you took something away. That's all this was about, was taking something away from the boys. And I've got a video about this coming out. But I don't know if you guys remember, Lucy Jones from The Independent a year ago wrote an article about
basic.
Yep. And she said she was a Doctor Who fan. We're going to check in on Lucy Jones' Twitter a little later in the episode and see if she's tweeted about Doctor Who since she wrote that article. Spoilers. She hasn't. So, but let's get in the episode. Yes, the Doctor's in a bad mood, and that's all they mention. And Graham went out shopping for coffee, and he got some coupons, and he puts the coupons together, and it's the instant teleport to some travel location called Tranquility Spa. They are zapped over there, and the mopey doctor, I thought she was going to stay mopey all episode, but no, she went right back into her bad Matt Smith, David Tennant impression. It goes back and forth. And we are seeing a theme that Starry pointed out. All they're doing is pretty much aping new era Doctor Who episodes and mixing them into some kind of weird blender. And then we're taking off from there. So mopey doctor can't be on vacation. She takes off. And then Yaz interrupts a marriage proposal. The two old people who have been together for 47 years. Old man's about to propose. Yaz interrupts. And it doesn't matter because, marriage is bad, right? Bolstrek.
Oh, we learned that later in the episode.
We do. So Yaz interrupts that. Ryan, for one, every male looks like a complete idiot.
Did you catch Graham? Graham, the Speedo joke right at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
Like they start making him look like an idiot right off the bat.
Yeah, and I don't like how they've done Graham this season so far. He's been more idiotic and worst Uber ever in my Speedos. And they make him look bad doing that, but then they have to make Ryan look bad. He goes to a vending machine and gets those awful potato crisps or chips or whatever you guys call them over there, and he gets a virus immediately from the machine. The machine gives him a virus, and he has to suck his thumb. And he hallucinates, and he's supposed to sit in it. So the doctor tells Ryan, first 5 minutes of the episode, to suck his thumb and sit into the corner. The symbolism is not very subtle, guys. What do you think?
No.
I just laughed a lot. It really takes me out of the episode.
No, it's one thing after the other.
Well, the whole thing didn't even need to be there. This is how they write this show. It's actually kind of like Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, where they'll throw these things in thinking they're funny. They're not funny. They're just cringeworthy. And then just the hitting on the scene, or the scene where Ryan's hitting on the girl, and he's all, you get the subtext there as well. Don't hit on girls. You're a man. You're an idiot.
Yes. And they both have to lie about what they're doing for a living. Ryan says I'm a surgeon for pilots or something, and she says she's a hotel critic, and they're sitting there sucking their thumbs. Of course, Ryan has to be hitting on another black woman, which is fine, but there's a reason for this. We're hitting the diverse. See, when it becomes obvious that you're hitting the diversity and inclusion initiative, that doesn't help anything. It's supposed to be natural, organic, like in the show The Expanse, where it's done naturally and organic. This is obvious. The worst part of if you remember back in Resolution, when a police officer introduced himself as gay before he gave his name. Yes, it's something like that. So they have the Hopper virus. That's what it's called. Velma and Benny are the two old people. By the way, the acting was awful. It was it was terrible.
Poor Benny.
Yeah, it actually almost made Yaz look like an actress. Almost. Then we have what is this? They're on holiday. They're on this holiday. Automatically, they think there's something wrong. There's some alarm that they have to go to some safe space, and this is where we meet the. I didn't get the. Was it Benny? Was that the dumb? Who's the dumb dad with the green hair?
Benny's the old guy. We're talking about Nevi, who was James Buckley from In-Betweeners. And I like the guy in In-Betweeners, but I don't. And this is pre-woke BBC because it was 2008 through 2010.
Yep.
But I don't think he can play anything beyond that. Like as soon as he came on screen, I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. And then
you look like an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, and you could see what they were going to do with this guy too. I'm like, they're going to portray him like an idiot. He's portrayed like an idiot. And then did you get I know we were talking about this before the stream, but the fact that he's an idiot, but his son is a genius. So what's the so kids and anybody in the chat, what's the message being delivered here?
Yeah, I think it's subtle. I didn't quite catch it. But as with season 11 or series 11, depending on what side of the pond you're on, the bad guys are white males or males. We're either dumb, incompetent, evil masterminds of destruction. I don't know how we could be all those things at once, but we are.
Or cowards.
And cowards. And
remember,
cowards.
they had the one scene with the white guy in the hallway screaming like a little girl.
Yes, and he had to do was stay still, and then he took off, and then he got splattered by the dregs. The dregs, which are us, by the way. Spoilers, they're us. The costume design was terrible, and you couldn't even see it because, for one, this was the episode that they were going. Tolson Cole was going out there and telling people he was like legitimately scared. Shooting this episode. This was supposed to be the scary episode, everybody. It was supposed to be the horror episode, and it was just close-ups. It was fucking close-ups of the masks that looked awful, by the way, and it was shot terribly, edited technically the worst episode of Doctor Who, and I'm counting the classic series. I mean, like, there are
Series 24 is absolute brilliance compared to this. Well, speaking of bad costumes, what about that thing in the bear suit with the tail that looked like a child's Halloween costume? That's actually, and I'm including the Web Planet in this. That's the worst costume I have ever seen on Doctor Who.
Her name was Hyphen with the 3.
Is that what it was?
I couldn't really tell. She was talking so fast and British. Yeah, sorry.
I didn't get the name either. My jaw.
Yeah, it was that was the name. That was the name. Hyphen 3. Hyphen
3 or hyphen with the 3. Yeah. I am American, so I'm a little dumb. So I usually watch my British television with the closed captions, so I can catch everything. But I can't because of the way I'm viewing this. I'm viewing it live on the BBC. I'm sure they love that, but stick it. You take away my show, I'm gonna get you. I'm mad. This is personal. This is fucking personal. God damn it. I'm so fucking mad about this. And then the fucking ratings going down and the show dying, and then it's just gonna end up in pieces. And what have I said all along? And what you've said all along is we're gonna be the ones left. The assholes you didn't want around anymore. We're the ones who are fucking left.
Yep, that's it. And it's the same thing with me as well. My prior to Series 11 and during Series 11, my highest viewed videos were always Doctor Who. Now they're amongst Batwoman is outperforming my Doctor Who videos. Nobody cares. Everybody has walked away. And you can look at my videos because I was calling this back in 2017 as to what was going to happen. And you can go back. It still says publication date. And everybody said I was full of shit. The only thing that I missed is I didn't think it was going to be this bad. But and here's what's funny: a certain forum, who I will not mention by name, but they really love me and Gary over there. Even most of them are calling this episode shit. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, this. I'm looking forward to seeing what the ratings are going to be for this, but more importantly, I'm looking forward to seeing what the ratings are going to be next week.
I guessed below. I mean, this is pretty easy. Below 4 million in the UK, and I'm going to guess below 500,000. This is overnight in the US. Now, in the US, we do our ratings stupid, so it is probably like 700,000 once you have digital. By the way, they make this shit up. These digital numbers are completely made up. There's no way they could, because that means they would have to share information with Comcast and all these cable companies. No fucking way they're doing that. So they are pulling that number out of their ass. And I just want you guys to look to the right of the picture. I'm sure it's still up. There's a little show called The Expanse. It's at 100%. Now, usually I say fuck the critics, but the audience score is probably just as high with that show. There's still good TV out there. And for anybody out there who wants to call us racist, misogynist, all that bullshit, how could I be a Doctor Who fan? How could Bolstrek be a Doctor Who fan? Or Starry? Are you going to call Starry racist? That's terrible. She is female. They can't be racist. But listen, I'm just fucking sick of it. And I haven't even read my comments on the last 2 Doctor Who videos yet. I plan to, but I know what goes with it. And it's been bad enough with Star Trek. I don't know. I always change my mind who's worse. Star Wars fans actually are not the worst. They're not. They're not even close.
I would say that Doctor Who now is the worst. I'm ancient. You know, Gary and I are old men. Sorry, Gary.
It's okay.
Although Gary's older than me, so it doesn't happen often. But I go back to internet fandom. I've been using this name since 1995. So, and obviously I'm a sci-fi nerd. So I've been part of the online Doctor Who community, Star Wars community, Star Trek, X-Files. I have never seen anything. I hate to use the word, but I'm going to use the word toxic. I have never seen anything even approaching the level of toxicity that comes from, we'll call them I've got other names for them, but we'll call them the Jody bots for now. I think the closest I've ever seen was when Enterprise was canceled. And I thought that was bad. That was happy fun time compared to what we're seeing now. And in terms of YouTube comments, mine have been absolutely delightful. It's been awesome. Just on any given day, especially after I put up a review, just go to Twitter and do a search under Bolstrek, and it's just filled with delightfulness. That's how I start every morning. So and to be honest, I just laugh at them now because it's so over the top, and they're all repeating the exact same things at the exact same time. It's like they are robots.
Yes. Incel's my favorite. That's my favorite. I don't know how my kids got here, but I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. All right. So, God, I don't want to get to this fucking episode. It's terrible. So it's a bunch of running around in corridors. It's an Under Siege episode.
Yep.
And they shoot these after they do the big expensive episodes. They did this with Midnight, Turn Left. Although that was pretty expensive episode. They do smaller episodes that are usually in close because for budgetary reasons. And usually this really works with Doctor Who. I love Midnight.
Midnight is one of the best shows that's run.
Yes.
Yep. And that's another one they ripped off, but not as much as the other ones that you mentioned, Starry. But okay. And like, jump in whenever you want if my description gets bad, because my notes trailed off at the end because I just didn't give a fuck about halfway through the episode. I'm like, God, how can we have 15 minutes left or 30 minutes left? So they find out there's a problem, and all this weird drama keeps happening. So Benny, they all have to go into the safe room because of the alarm. And there's a creature out there killing all the guests. And I don't know how many guests were there. They never give you an idea of how many guests were in this thing. A bunch of them were dying. Ryan and what was her name? What was the girl's name? Sucking thumb girl again. Bella.
Yeah.
Bella were separated. Benny got separated. He got taken by one of the monsters. Everybody went into the safe room. And they kept on going in and out of safe rooms, and they kept on like, this area is not safe, and then they would walk into that area that wasn't safe anymore. They couldn't keep track of their own shit in this episode, which, listen, on Doctor Who, I'm not that hardcore about it. It's Doctor Who. There's always stuff like that. It's not like Star Trek, but it was particularly bad in this episode. I couldn't even keep track of the nonsense, and that's why it's this bad. And I couldn't even catch all of there's so much PC crap spread out through this, the message of anti-family, fatherhood. I'm surprised they didn't get into anti-natalist. They might have been a little bit. There was a mother-daughter thing. It was just
mothers are bad in this episode. What was her name? I thought Kane. She was a security. Kane. Yeah, actually, I've got it right here. Yeah, it's Kane. terrible mother. I'm not sure exactly how the age difference between the two of them works, but apparently she's the mother. So if you remember last year, Ed Heim, it was an attack against single fathers.
Yep.
I'm thinking that he has major issues with his parents because in this episode, he attacks fathers and mothers. And don't forget Nevi or whatever his name is. He's also divorced, but it's better at his house than mom's house.
Yes.
So equal opportunity parent hatred in this episode. I don't know. Ed Heim would be a great study for a psychologist.
And great bringing your kid to this environment once you find out what it is. Yep. That means that kid teleported from wherever to go to Orphan 55, which was the name of the planet. And by the way, it was a giant environmental episode. And this is only the first one we're getting because the Doctor's still fighting plastic later in the season.
That one hasn't.
And it's not the Autons. So you have your opportunity right there. And it's not the Autons. Oh, well, I'm glad they're not fucking them up. So, yes, lots of teleporting, guests dying, running around corridors, woke messaging. And Kane, by the way, in Doctor Who, men are no longer in charge of any type of security ever. They haven't been in a long time. And if they are, they're evil. So Kane is the girl boss. She's in charge of security, 5'2", whatever. Fine. She's working a gun, bossing her underling around, who's cowardly and incompetent because he's a man.
Yep.
And he can't take on the monsters. And and she's an Uber girl boss. We find out she's not just head of security. No, they don't stop there because girls are powerful and stunning and brave. Don't forget it. And they haven't been until Doctor Who came around. Did you know, Starry, that you couldn't drive or vote until Jodie became the Doctor?
Yep.
I know. I've been so repressed.
Current year, man.
Current year, brah. Are you PC, brah? All right, so we're at the spa. They're attacking the guests. Men. I said men are the red shirts, but they didn't kill that one just yet. I was right. So, and then we meet. Dad is dumb. Here we go. So we find out the Orphan planet is it's some kind of environmental disaster happened. It could have been nuclear war, and we find out that this vacation place is just a dome. It looks like the Astrodome, basically, on a dead planet. Yeah. So Benny gets taken by the dregs. So they're going to pursue. And I guess he's still alive out there because Benny was old and he had an oxygen tank. So that explains. I mean, they mentioned that the radiation has gone down. They don't really mention particularly what the cataclysm is, but we could assume it's nuclear war. So they go down on this dead planet, and as they're running around on the dead planet, there's fucking trees everywhere. That's my favorite thing. There's fucking trees everywhere.
My son pointed that out, and he was like, "Why is the tree?"
It's
what
green.
happened to the quarries? It was a Doctor Who staple. Chips can't even get that right.
They tried to gray it out, but I mean they didn't. And I'm like, look at the green trees. And yes, I know it's an O2 environment, and they probably technically could survive, but not like a fucking forest. Just in the background, which is hilarious. Yes, and listen, I know trees survived at Chernobyl. Stop.
Actually, I noticed a comment here. Basically, in terms of ripping it off, this is the Leisure Hive.
It's the Leisure Hive. It's midnight. It's midnight. It's Utopia. It's everything Starry said. That's all they're doing is they're taking Doctor Who episodes and putting them in a giant blender and just go, please still watch our show. Please. So they're running around in post-apocalyptic beautiful forest somewhere, and where they found some dirt because they couldn't afford anything, and they're in their midnight car, driving around in their midnight car, following Benny, and this part is kind of dark. So Benny's engagement was interrupted by Yaz because Yaz just annoys everybody.
Oh, this is a classic line.
Yes. So Benny is able to talk to, sorry, what was her name again? It was Benny.
Velma?
An old lady. Velma. Benny and Velma. That's right. So he goes, I've got 2 questions for you, Velma. First, will you marry me? And she goes, yes, yes. Next, could you possibly shoot me after that?
No subtlety there at all.
No. Oh my God. Oh fuck. And yeah, and they were playing with him, and they didn't show with like, were they using him as a meat puppet, or like, I don't know, how were they
But
communicating?
again, this was more stealing ideas. This was Silence in the Library and the Weeping Angel one, Flesh and Stone.
Yeah.
With
Yep.
Angel Bob.
Yeah. I think, I know they watched somebody's videos. Bulls Trek, probably, maybe a couple of mine. I don't know.
Oh, they love me.
Yeah. Oh, they must love you. They must. Noel, I'm sure they listen to Noel.
We're all on their dartboard.
We're in their freaking head. Point. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that, and listen, that's you in the chat too. It's not just us. Okay. The power comes from you guys. And it's the live streams they pay attention to. I don't know about the BBC, but I know Star Trek. CBS is the most thin-skinned giant corporation on the planet. They watch all of our stuff, and they really we get under their skin. So I'm sure it's similar there. And some of this seems reactionary, and I think a bunch of us made videos pointing out that there's no science fiction writers on this. It's a bunch of soap opera writers, and they don't know shit. And listen, I am not an expert in anything. Okay, I really enjoy Doctor Who. I've enjoyed it for years and years and years and years. I don't have encyclopedia knowledge. I have better knowledge about this show than others. But like, I shouldn't be catching stuff that they don't. That should not happen. If somebody wants to be a doctor, they should watch every fucking episode that they can watch before they become a doctor. And if they can't do that, then they're lazy as an actor, Jody. Matt Smith did it. It takes time, but this is a serious role. This is this was an influential role. This is a rock star role. You can use it as a platform, and it has to be used responsibly, and it's not being used responsibly right now. It's just being used to push some fucking agenda, and it's ruining the goddamn show. So you won't have anything to push your agenda with much longer. Sure, HBO Max came and saved your ass, but I don't think they're going to want this. I don't think they're going to want this. And yeah, 57% ratings drop. Not good from premiere episode to premiere episode. I do need to say that. It's not overall. So yeah, they used Benny as a meat puppet, and it was Kane who killed him because she's really hard as a girl boss. She's a girl boss, but she's an Uber girl boss. You know how she's an Uber girl boss? She owns Orphan 55, the planet. She bought it. She bought it so she could terraform it using the Tranquility Place to help fund the terraforming. And let's just jump right to it. For some reason,
Sorry, Gary, I just realised what else they've nicked it from.
What?
Aliens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I was thinking Alien. I was thinking both Alien and Aliens and Alien 3.
Oh, dear.
So there's a service hatch. They just happen to find a service hatch out in there in the middle of nowhere. And they get down into it, and this might have been my favorite part in the episode when they go to the service tunnel and they wipe it away. They're like, that's Russian.
The Russians.
So, the Russians. Extra marks for mentioning the Russians. Bad guys. Well done. Well done. So it was Earth, everybody. Earth destroyed itself in a nuclear catastrophe after the food ran out due to global warming. Global warming. That's it.
Don't forget capitalism bad. We get that thrown in here too. Terraforming capitalism. Yep.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, you're right. That part was bad, but it was also the capitalism that caused the global warming that made everybody starve. That started World War III. And
happens all the time.
It does. And that's what she said. The doctor says this happens more than you think. It happens all the time. But remember, this is only one possible future. It's only one possible future because we've seen the Earth get messed up a million times in Doctor Who. But it was the message wasn't very subtle. The science is in, though. The science is absolutely in. And I don't want to get super in this debate. I mean, it's kind of hard when they fucking push it in our Doctor Who show. And
it's kind of there. So this whole episode was just, well, surprise, surprise, yet another political message.
Oh yeah, it's not anything different than they're telling my kid in school. Like they're telling my kid in school that the Earth might end, and I'm like, yeah, if a meteor comes down, sure. But there's a lot of other stuff. I can go on and on for hours on how there was a cataclysm 12,000 years ago here in North America that wiped out all the megafauna, and we bounced right back. I mean, 1,000 years, it still takes a while to bounce back. It doesn't mean it's okay to litter. Doesn't mean you should be like, we should take our styrofoam containers and toss them out our car or fill the oceans full of plastic. I'm not for any of that. I'm against it. I like animals. A lot of them taste very good, but I like animals. I don't want I don't know. I've been to LA. It looks pretty bad, but it's not as bad as Beijing. So, we don't want that to be, that's not the case here. But as far as like science being in, so we can tax people, and it's a very elitist point of view. And the question I have is, how much did this episode cost? How many, I don't know, trailers were required? How many trucks were required? You were driving around a vehicle inside in this episode. Was that vehicle electric? Did you use electric trucks on the set? Some of these sets use generators. Were those electrical generators, or were there fossil fuel powered generators for the lighting and night shoots, stuff like that? I don't know. I'm just asking these questions. Were all of these actors flown in, driven in? Were they all flown in on electric planes? And oh wait, those don't exist. Well, not anything you can fly in. And were they all driven in on electric cars? I mean, these are questions I just have to fucking ask, because when you are spending millions of dollars on an episode preaching to us little plebs out here, to conserve stuff or we're going to end the world, just think about that. Okay, think about be a little self-aware. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's like the kids on Twitter that complain about capitalism and the evil of capitalist slavery, and then you look and it says sent from my iPhone. It's like that. But yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, how okay, so here's an idea, Doctor Who and Chibs, considering the resources that go into every episode. If you want to save the environment, well, then let's just not do Doctor Who, because you remove your global footprint.
Yeah, let's start with the merchandise as well.
Oh, that's already done.
Yes, that's true. The merchandise
in landfill, so that's not exactly environmentally friendly.
Well, if you're making a Blu-ray, that is petroleum based. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Plastic, petroleum based. Yes, it is. So yeah. Why did action figures get small? Why did they go from dolls to little action figures? Because of the oil crisis in the 70s. That's what made them big to small. Look it up. Okay. So, but yeah, you're right. Doctor Who is doing their part in merchandising, because they're not selling any right now. They couldn't sell 500 1/6 scale 13th Doctor figures on a Big Chief. I think they sold 300 something. In a planet with 6 billion people, 350, something like that. Pretty sad. Okay, so by the way, Kane, the girl boss who bought the planet to terraform it, her daughter was the one sucking her thumb that Ryan hit on, and she wants to kill her mom because mom forgot about her. She was a caretaker for her dad, so she had, her dad was a burden. That might have been their version of a good father, one who took care of his daughter and then died.
We're good when we're dead.
Yes. I think there's a world where people just want sperm donors. That's it. And once they can figure that out, just off us. We're so useless. So the dregs are us. They're people. They're basically angry trees. That's how they breathe carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. And then there's a lot of running in and out of corridors. And then there's like forced drama between Bella and Kane. And then there's a lot of suicide. So Bella, to save people that didn't need to be saved. For one, this crack team that they went out to begin with to go get Benny and to go take on this apex predator called the Dreg. They brought a 79-year-old woman, like an incompetent man, Graham, who's not a youngster. Okay. And they brought him along. So the first person to sacrifice herself to save the fam is Velma, and she gets horribly maimed off screen. And then Kane supposedly does it too. She goes, "Go on without me." There's a lot of that. There's a "go on without me," and you're like, "Why are you leaving? Your guys were almost out the door." There was so much like, you were escaped. Why did you just sacrifice? Oh, the script called for it. Okay, I got you. And there's a ton of that. And then there's, do we get an arbitrary countdown clock?
Yes, we do on the bomb.
There was. Yeah, at the end.
Yes. Okay, so
you have to get out before the dome explodes.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a Chibnall episode without an arbitrary countdown clock. And that's the bomb. So, yeah, so Bella and Ryan get separated. Then she's going to blow up the Astrodome. And then Ryan talks her out of it. I kind of trailed off at this part. And then in the meantime, they're in the corridors trying to escape. And there's these escape teleports that are very convenient. They weren't working at one time. And then all of a sudden they do work. And they're able to get back to the Astrodome. And they need, what is it? Ceruleum 4. Well, they have Ceruleum 3, but they need Ceruleum 4 to power the teleports. And it takes the little kid to figure this out because the dad who's the engineer is too dumb. And he actually says, I need my son. I need my son at some point. And he calls his son. His son saves the day. Did you catch the part where Bella was hitting on Ryan and then Graham caught up to him and they hugged and she got upset and left?
Yeah.
Oh crap! Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because she thought they were a gay couple. Yes. I mean, it's just this episode was all. I sound all over the place because the fucking episode was all over the place. It was so all over the place. So they're able to save the day. They leave behind Kane, and you guys can fill in what I missed because I fucking hate this episode. So Kane and Bella ended up making up at the end because women can make up at the end, but fathers deserve to die. And they stay on the planet, and the fam is teleported away thanks to Silas, who teleports safely away with his dad, probably back to his mom's house where they can be, so a woman is there to guide them through their lives. And we're back on the TARDIS. And that's the end of the adventure. And it was and then the doctor gives this speech that seems to go on forever, Bulls Trek. And it's a speech of the environment and how we could all change. Can you remember better than I can? Because I just tried to tune it all out, to be honest with you.
Catastrophe is coming, but it's not decided. People need to step up, save planets, or wreck them. And then we see the monster at the end because that's going to be us. Yes. So that's the gist of it. So we are destroying the world. It's our fault, and people need to step up. And I don't know.
Retardus.
Well, it's funny because even if they want to take action on this, they're choosing the wrong people to lecture to us. I'm like, this is not going to win anybody over. This just irritates them. It's like, taking a poor 16-year-old girl with who's obviously Asperger's or on the spectrum and having her scream at us or screech at us. It's the equivalent of that. This is not going to pull anybody over to your side. This is do what we did while watching it, laugh our asses off, and then say, what the hell did we just watch?
Yeah, turning into a dreg would be a better fate than having to watch this episode again. It made me want to go outside and turn on my car and leave it running for 10 hours.
Yep.
That's how I felt about it. And I would gladly pay more gas just to do it to fucking annoy you people. By the way,
I'm going to go for a drive after this.
Yes, just a neat drive.
Just around the block over and over again for 4 hours.
I'm going to refresh this. That's still at 7%.
It's really funny because when the episode went off, my son turned to me and said, "I don't understand why we're meant to be scared of them."
I don't either.
And they weren't even an original monster. They looked like the Hoiks from Love and Monsters.
I think they're repurposed. I think that I'm looking I have my action figure accessible, or is it way up there? It's way up there. But yeah, it looks exactly like it. It's just less clothed.
Yes.
At least that one had a costume on. I'm trying to remember where it is. Things get lost in the sea up there. But I did add something. If anybody can catch it, if anybody can catch what I added, I'll even move my microphone to show you.
It's an action figure.
An action figure. I added my first Doctor, Big Chief First Doctor. I got it. I got one finally.
You got it.
Cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, they're cheaper now. All the collectible stuff that was really expensive isn't anymore. I wonder why. So guys, I don't know, like how we ask, at least I asked after Arachnids in the UK, I'm like, it couldn't possibly get worse than this. And it has, and we're 3 episodes in, and we just saw the Spyfall Part 1 and 2 were the best you're going to get from this series. So they're going to start production on season 3. Do you think? I mean, like, could we actually see a 3rd season of this garbage?
If they were beholden to the capitalist market like everything else is, probably not, because the ratings are going to be epically horrific. But given that this is the BBC, they're all about pushing agenda, and Doctor Who used to be their flagship show, but now it's their flagship agenda pushing show. We're going to see more of this. We'll see a 3rd season.
We'll see a 3rd season, and they can't be seen to be failing, even though they know they are.
You're right.
There'll be a 3rd season, and then there'll be a break, and damage will be done.
Yep.
Yeah, remember, folks, the HBO Max thing that everybody keeps invoking, that's streaming rights. Yeah. And that means they paid for David Tennant, Chris Eccleston, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi to a certain extent. That's what they paid for. They're not paying for future Who. It might have funded it a little bit, but they are perfectly happy just having the old stuff that people will actually rewatch. This might, I don't know. I don't know if this damages that, to be honest with you. Like, The Fall of Skywalker damaged Star Wars. It actually damaged Star Wars for me. I was watching Empire Strikes Back in the gym today, and I can't look at it the same anymore because I'm like, oh, this is just a big dumb Empire that gets replaced by a big dumb fucking First Order, and I don't care anymore. Star Trek, it damages it. Star Trek Discovery damages it. Doctor Who, I could just cut off the end at 50th anniversary and still enjoy the hell out of the first seasons. I'm not worried about that. And that's what HBO Max paid for. So for all the Tumblerinas and Jody bots out there who think that they're going to be the big savior for it, no, Starry's right. We get one more season. I think it's canceled after that because it's just too fucking expensive, and they've driven it too far into the dirt. And if they could bring it back, there's a very easy formula to bring it back and make it extremely popular. I said I'm like, why not do fucking specials right now? Paul McGann is owed. The man is owed. Okay?
I've been saying that for years.
You want to get 10 million people watching it in the UK instantly? You put Paul McGann in a fucking special. But I mean, I agree with Noel on this. You got to have the main story's got to be count, or it's kind of useless. And the reason they won't do that is because Paul McGann would get would get higher ratings than Jody, and that would make them look bad. And this is how you back yourself into a corner with your goddamn agendas instead of actually, I don't know, maybe working. And if you actually worked and got the right people involved, you could have gotten your message across and still kept your fans. But instead, you were fucking lazy about this, and alls it was woke. Alls it was putting the boobs on the Doctor. You didn't think about it past that because you thought it would work, dumbasses. And you got fooled by your first episode, and it's all been downhill since then. And now we're sitting here going, fucking told you so. And we tried to warn you. When we make these videos, you call it hate, you a-holes. It's because we care. If we didn't care, I wouldn't make a video. I'd walk away, which I'm pretty damn close to doing at this point. I mean, I'm going to do my hoogsit. Fuck it. Because this shit's offensively bad. And it shows how much the BBC cares about their crown jewel. And you know what? It should have been the foreshadowing should have been how they treated Top Gear. I mean, the way they were ready to just move on from that, the biggest show in the goddamn world, So I mean, the BBC it's run by idiots. It's run by complete idiots. At least here in the States, we have that terrible capitalism that can keep good entertainment flowing, and we still get occasionally some good stuff. But I don't see how it can change, guys. I think it's done. I mean, like cooked.
And if they go with this plan with the Time Lords and messing about with canon, then there'll be no coming back from it.
No, they better not. But they will. They will.
It's hatred towards the fans. Like, they hate the fans. That in Spyfall Part 1, that comment that this is an upgrade, that was a direct message to us long-term Doctor Who fans. It was saying nothing has changed. You don't matter. This Doctor is the best thing ever. You can go away. And they've had plenty of opportunities to change course if they wanted to. Chibs was announced as new showrunner 4 years ago. It was, I think, March 2016, if I remember correctly. I did a video the day the announcement came out, if you need the exact date. But they've had plenty of opportunities to change course if they wanted to. Like, look at how much time there was between Series 11 and Series 12. If... You know, they could have done what Star Wars did, which, you know, the one thing we can say about Rise of Skywalker, other than it destroyed Star Wars, but compared to what came before, it was decidedly non-woke. The wokeness was really just hangovers from The Last Jedi. So if they really wanted to change, because they know Doctor Who fans, like those of us that go back to the classic series, or really anybody that goes to the pre-Jodie Whittaker era, they know that most of us hate this. So they could have changed, but this is because the BBC is not bound by capitalism. They can do this. And there's always jump the shark moments. I think the mark where Doctor Who officially died, it's going to be that line. When we look at this, say 10, 15 years ago, it's going to come down to that one line in Skyfall. We don't care what you think. We don't care what came before. We hate you. This is what it is. Deal with it.
Well, it's been admitted today. I mean, there was did you see that Radio Times article about Chris Chibnall doesn't read any feedback?
Oh yeah, that's
all.
Yeah.
You know, and he said he's writing it for himself. Like, yeah, we know. We all know. Yep. We all can tell.
That is the most basic answer to I do read my criticism, and and he's losing the critics. And that's what happens when your show is only woke. And when you try to even slightly unwoke it, it's going to piss off the useless access media who you should listen. I've always said, don't listen to us, don't listen to them. But now you're going to write it for yourself. We're the ones who actually fucking care. You have been listening to the other ones, though. That's the deal. And that point, you should listen to us because we've been watching it for a long time. There's people who've been watching it for years longer than me. And this has a deep fan base, and arguably the first. I think it's the first. It's the first fandom was Doctor Who.
Yeah, 1963.
Yep. And you know, there was I remember reading about it was in I can't remember where it was, but I read where kids were taking their 8mm or 16mm cameras in the 60s and pointing them at the screen and just getting a couple of minutes of footage with no audio just so they could watch Doctor Who again. Yep. That's where fandom begins, you know.
Well, it's a good example of that, Gary, is with all the missing episodes. The audio still exists, and there are multiple versions from every missing episode because, and it wasn't that easy to do back then, but kids would hook up their tape recorders, filtering it through the antenna, and would record the audio. Like, and it started with the Daleks, the second story in '63. You know, this is where you had people recording it, listening to it over and over again. This is where you had kids in the playground trying to be Daleks. I'm like, this was the first fandom. And that fandom is now dead, and you can see it in the numbers, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, and what sucks is all the inroads they made here that really could have helped this show, because the Doctor Who fans over here respect the UK-ness of it. Okay, so we would never want it to be made for us ever. But like honestly, we could have helped it survive in this new era of streaming service. Australia's a giant Whovian base there too, and all across the world. We could have helped it survive because the BBC, I don't know if they're going to be able to survive in this new streaming. The streaming wars we're in right now. Everything is great right now because there's an influx of investor cash. So and they just need content. So they're just throwing money at fucking everybody right now. They just gave Seth MacFarlane $200 million to create content for NBC. They're throwing ridiculous. They gave Dan and Dave $250 million. Netflix gave those two idiots $250 million. Like a lot of stuff is going to be canceled in the next 2 or 3 years. Once all the dust settles and the streaming wars are over, and Doctor Who will be one of them for sure. And a bunch of franchises are going to fall apart. And we just want to say, hey, there's a real easy way to stop this.
Yep.
I mean, get rid of your agenda. Go out and find somebody. For one, I doubt anybody wants to work on the show anymore. When you're handcuffed with a diversity and inclusion, when you're basically given a checklist before you write anything, you can't write anything like that. That's impossible. Then you're being about as creative as somebody writing instructions on I don't know your basic model kit or something. It loses it. Yeah, here it is. Doctor Who boss says he can't read reviews or online feedback. It's not a democracy. Really? Well,
that's what happens when you're not beholden to capitalism, because over here it's a democracy. Look at just any example, Dark Phoenix, Charlie's Angels, whatever. It is a democracy. We voted not to see it. Solo was a democracy. We voted not to see it. We vote with our wallets. And as soon as the BBC loses the license fee, they're going to learn the hard way what it's like for everything else. So yes, Chibs, we do vote. And not only that, in terms of merchandise, that has to be profitable. In terms of BBC World, that has to be profitable. In Canada, it's the rights are owned by the CTV network, which is not our publicly funded network, so that has to be profitable. And this shows the elitism and just how out of touch these people are.
It's come back up.
It came back up.
Yeah, I just saw that.
And it does. It really does. And that's what's ruining this show. And it shouldn't be about that. Again, entertainment. You can listen within Doctor Who. You can send these messages. No problem. If you're a talented writer, go for it. But entertainment should be what brings us together, no matter what the fuck's going on. Okay. No matter what's going on, we just want to enjoy our stuff. It's where people on both sides of the aisle can get together and talk about Doctor Who, and we could just take a break from it. But you guys, you don't want us. The elites don't want us to take a break, and then maybe if they don't want us to take a break, maybe it's time for us to permanently take a break from them.
Yep.
And I don't want to do that, so that's why I'm voicing my opinion, because eventually I will. But this one again, I take it personal because of the time. It was my personal choice to invest this much time into Doctor Who, and it's my personal choice to complain about it for as long as I fucking like, as long and while I'm still allowed to on this channel, and I'm going to do it. Fuck the algorithm. I don't care, because again, I am one of the millions of people who help support this, and I want to enjoy Doctor Who with my fellow Whovians, and then continue recommending it. I made so many freaking, for one, I literally made a couple of Doctor Who fans, well, with the help of Mrs. Nerdrotic, and I made them at the comic store I used to own. I was talking this show up every single day. People were coming back and going, I love that show. I love that show. I had it on a loop inside my store all the time, playing an episode for 3 years straight. We did viewing parties, and all makes and sizes were coming in here in very diverse San Francisco and enjoying the shit out of it. You didn't need to change it. You didn't. No. It was a show that didn't require that.
Well, when it came back in 2005, my nephews were at the right age to watch it. So we all watched it together as a family. My niece watched it. So it was like a generational thing. And then now I had my children, and we've been watching it together. And now, they've lost them. The teenagers now, they're not interested. It's YouTube. and Netflix they're interested in, and we've gone from the entire family watching it to it is now just me and the boys, but only because I reminded them, because I was watching it, for tonight. If I hadn't have said anything, they wouldn't have known, and that's the first time this has happened.
Yeah. I'm the only person I know, other than my friend Tony, that still watches the show, and we just watch it to rip it apart. And yeah, when you talk about how many people we've introduced to Doctor Who for years, I used to be a DVD Blu-ray tech channel, and I would feature every DVD as it came out for years. So, how much money have they made off me? How many fans have they made off me over the years? I'm like, it's ridiculous, but again, we don't matter.
No, and it's not like we're asking for anything. We did this out of love. We love the show. We just wanted to kind of stay in the spirit of what it used to be. Sure, things need to change. That's great, but you don't really believe in your goddamn change, Doctor Who. And I'm talking to the creatives, or I'm sorry, repurposers out there. You didn't need. This was an unnecessary change. You just did it to make a political point when you could have certainly used a Romana out there. I would have watched the shit out of that show. If you made it. Sarah Jane's Adventures proved Doctor Who fans would watch that stuff. I mean, it was more of a show, but I still liked it and watched it. So they just stopped believing in it, and it just became a tool for their stupid agenda. And it's going down the route that everything else is. And now we're in the time of reckoning. This is it. And honestly, Doctor Who is the show that's getting the worst consequences right now. Star Wars is going to be in a bad place too, but this one, but it's going to be around. Doctor Who's not going to be around, and Noel said it on the live stream last night. And I completely agree. It ain't coming back.
No,
it's not going to come back to television. It'll be in comic books. There'll be us old farts liking it, and it'll be. I equate it. I mean, this is kind of a bad analogy, but think about Lost in Space. So Lost in Space was a popular show when it was out in the 60s and stuff. And I know there's a reboot on Netflix, but it's that's what it's going to be like. It's just going to be that old show, Outer Limits, That's
but
it.
we talked about this last night, didn't we both? Talk about it. It feels like that late 80s again, where it was embarrassing to say you're a Doctor Who fan. And it feels like that again. It used to be the coolest thing a few years ago. Everybody was a fan of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
and right. Yeah.
And I think it's even worse than it being something like The Outer Limits or Lost in Space, because those are shows that we love. With Doctor Who, it's been so personal that a lot of that old fan base, even when it comes to classic Who, feel so insulted that they're never coming back. It's and I think Doctor Who is unique not only because they have the means to keep pushing this, but I keep saying that Doctor Who is the one franchise that can never be saved. Like Star Trek, this might change with Picard, which is a whole other story. But Star Trek as it is right now can be saved. Why? Because most people, the normies, have no idea what Star Trek Discovery is. They're like, wait, there's a new Star Trek show? I'm like, it's on a streaming service in the US that nobody watches. So when people think Star Trek, they think, oh yeah, that show that ended with Enterprise, so thank God CBS tried to use it as a cash grab. With Star Wars, they recovered it a little bit with The Mandalorian. At least it's enjoyable. But Doctor Who, it's been so public and it's been so in your face. Like Star Wars, they were forced to change, and the fandom menace definitely played a big part. That Star Wars was forced to change. Star Trek is going to be forced to change because if they don't, it's going to bring CBS Paramount down with it. Doctor Who is not going to be forced to change. Doctor Who is never going to change. And compared to everything else, there's something so personal about the way Doctor Who went through this again. Whereas if you compare it to Star Wars and Star Trek, there's 10 years separated between episode 3 and episode 7, and really 12 if you look at the film that really insulted everyone. Star Trek, you're looking at 12 years between the end of Enterprise and the debut of Star Trek Discovery. I don't really count the Abrams movies in there. I've always kind of seen them as their own thing. Doctor Who was, I will call it, hijacked right in the middle of its run, where it stopped being one thing and became something else completely different. And there were 2 seasons, which I'll call the transitional period, where if you look at Stephen Moffat, his last 2 seasons are nothing like his first 4. And I think that was beyond him. I believe that was mandated by the BBC. And if you look at the timeline, changes had been forced upon him, because the writing also, like, Stephen Moffat is a good writer. Those last 2 seasons, the writing went to complete crap. So it's outside forces. And then in 2017, there's a complete takeover where it's not Doctor Who anymore. So it's different from most of the other franchises because it was hijacked right during its run. And we're back down to 7%.
Yes, we are. No, and you're right. And that's the hardest thing. Once I heard when I heard Chibnall was announced, I was not happy. I didn't like his episodes. When Jodie was announced, I knew everything that was going to come with it. I mean, it wasn't going to be, if this was 2005 and a female doctor was announced, I'd probably give it more of a chance. I'm still not for it, but I would give it more of a chance than current year, because I wouldn't have assumed so many politics would come with it, but they did. So they saddled Jodie with something she couldn't handle. She doesn't have the acting range, and they decided, because they knew she was the weakest link in her own show, they needed to do the critic-proof gimmick that had been working so well for other shows, but it doesn't in the long run. It burns out your audience, and it actually ends up being very, very bad. But listen, people at the BBC, people in Hollywood have never been known for looking at the big picture. Never. So that's what we fans worry about: legacy and big picture. They worry about next week. It's almost like they live paycheck to paycheck, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
With this shit.
Yeah.
So they burned through it, and it's not coming back, and I'm pissed. And to the point where, like, I cut that logo off of everything that I have to buy it on, even Big Finish stuff, which is the packaging is beautiful, but if it's got that logo, here comes the X-Acto knife.
Yep.
It gets cut off, and that's how I feel about it. And it's because they were so obnoxious about it.
Yeah,
you guys know my argument. I've never been for it. I think if you want a female character and you want her own show, you build it up from scratch. You show you actually have the commitment, and then I will watch it. No problem. I have no problem. But making the Doctor and a female is no different than making Batman a woman, Spider-Man a woman, and you can make it canonical. It's easy. It's easy. You know, Mr. Mixelplex comes down, makes Batman, takes his junk away, and now he's Batwoman. Or you just call him Batman still, but he's played by a woman, because that's where we're probably going to go now anyway. I don't care. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And that's what you did. You can't just do that with your show and then not bring it up, talk about the differences or anything. They just carried on. I mean, they still pretty much write it like it's a man. So it's ridiculous. And it just takes whatever I don't know. It rips off the curtain. I mean, the spell is gone. You know, the magic of Hollywood and BBC is they put a little spell. You buy into the story. What Robert Meyer Burnett likes to call verisimilitude. There's not much with Doctor. I mean, Doctor Who's crazy. That's what I like about it. But they ripped it all away. And now you're right, Starry. It's embarrassing. Like, I'll bring it up to other Fandom Menace members, and they're like, I never was into that show. I can't watch that show. That show's a joke. And I'm like, you're right. It is.
This, especially this one that we've just watched, this was a joke. The stupid costumes.
They ran out of money, didn't they?
Well, that bear costume, whatever that, like what I was mentioning earlier, like, I can't believe they actually let that on screen. And it just shows its laziness. It's like the final season of Game of Thrones. Like, let's just throw coffee cups in the scenes, and, God knows how many people that had to go through to make it into the broadcast product. But it's like this. It's like you can tell they don't care about the show. They have no passion for the show whatsoever. And it's evident on screen.
It is. Yeah. We have to get some super chats here. ladies and gentlemen. So, guys, pipe in if you have a take on any of these questions. This is the Q&A, and I'll try to get chat a little bit too. We have 2,700 people, over 2,700 people watching. Thank you, 763 likes. I welcome you all here. Please subscribe to Bulls Trek, one of the best YouTubers out there. I
try.
You do very well, sir.
Yeah, you are awesome.
Yeah,
I love Bulls Trek.
Now you're making the Trigger Train blush. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant member of the Fandom Menace and does great stuff on his own. Starry, you're thinking about starting your own channel?
Yeah, I've been asked quite a few times, but it's putting me off with the way YouTube's been at the moment. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I have got subscribers already.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
and you can always guest. You can always guest, and that's fine. And we greatly appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Big Red Bullfrog for £2 says, "Climate change monsters. Thanks, Greta." Croak. How dare you? How dare you, Big Red Bullfrog? Sorry, my camera went off on that one. Hang on. How dare you? Sorry. Listen, I don't know. I don't want to embarrass my kid. My kid hates her. Okay.
Have you seen the death metal video?
No. Oh, I gotta see it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It'll make your day.
My kid had the best line. He's like, she gives people with Asperger's bad name. So my kid is on the spectrum. Okay. He's got a little bit of the Asperger's and OCD and stuff. And he's like, she gives us a bad name. My kid's brilliant in every way. And Nicholas Horton for £2. Climate change monsters. Monsters, Nicholas, monsters. And you know who the monster is, Nicholas? It's you.
Yeah.
It's you and me.
It's me. It's all of us. But not Chibbs and Whitaker. They're not part of the problem. They're above us.
Hyperion 9997 Canadian $2 says Nicholas Horton. Here's a who. The Talons of Wayne Chang for £2. Season 12 has an audience score of 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. It does, and now it's at 7%. And please feel free to downvote the hell out of it. If you did watch the episode and you did not like it. If you liked it, feel free to upvote it. You know, all you Jody fans out, Lucy Jones, I know you're a big Doctor Who fan after you wrote that article a year ago. Go out and it takes a second. You give it 5 stars. You say greatest thing ever. And then that's it. Get it together now for $5. Late for this meeting, say 10 first steps of Serenity prayers. Say 10 first steps or Serenity prayers as penance. Your online sponsor, 36 years, says get it together. Thank you very much. I will. I did feel like I went to a goddamn church. And sorry, Father Christopher Miller, if you're out there, I took the Lord's name in vain, and I'm sorry, but and I got to pretend to be a religious because my kid's applying to a religious school. But that's terrible. And I do apologize to all the Christians out there. I really shouldn't do that. I should just say, well, if you say motherfucker, is that kind of against the goddess? Whatever. Original Star Wars fan for $2. Thanks for watching Doctor Who for us. You're welcome. This one was painful.
Yeah, this one
was painful.
And through the means that I have watched this is actually the first, because I just recently discovered these means, which we shall not talk about. So this is all hypothetical. But this is actually the first episode I have ever watched live on the BBC.
Yes, you get to watch the programming that's on before it.
Oh God, yeah, even that's woke as hell. I laughed when I saw that.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, guys. I'm just sorry. I'll just apologize.
And you guys have to pay for this shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, stuff.
Yes.
No, listen.
Stop the potty mouth.
When I went to London for the first time, the first thing I wanted to do was watch your television. That's what I did. I was in my hotel room and I'm like, oh, I get to watch British television live. I didn't go outside for like hours. And I watched an American TV show. I watched The Shield, but it was on British television. I was so happy. I went and bought like stacks of your tabloids and I read them
Yeah.
all and ate your crappy food and had some tea. And I don't even like tea. I love it. I can't wait to go back. I'm going in April, by the way. I'll be there. I'll be in Wales Comic-Con.
Yes.
I'm going to be there.
You need to let me know the dates. So
yes.
I can sort something out. Yeah.
It's towards the end of April. We're flying into Scotland. We're taking the Harry Potter train down to Wales, and then we're going to go to London from there. So that's what Mrs. Nerdrotic said this morning. So
I got a challenge for you guys while you're in Cardiff.
Mm-hmm.
I would go all world-class bullshitters on that. Go into toy stores in the home of Doctor Who and see what the situation's like, because that would be awesome.
I will do that. I will absolutely do it. You know where I'll start, though? I'll go to the Doctor Who experience. That's closed.
Yep.
That's been closed since the Jodie announcement, but the city of Cardiff still has to pay for the building. That's where I'll start. Yeah.
And there's still signs for it, Gary. So if you have a look, there's a brown sign.
I think you sent me pictures of that when you were there.
So when you're walking around, look at the street. There should be some brown signs with Daleks on, so you need to get a picture.
It's like a apocalyptic Doctor Who land.
It is. Hey, there is still one sign for the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, and that thing's been gone since JJ took over. But yeah, there's one sign for it that they haven't taken down yet. Okay, so Professor McCoy's pop culture reviews for $2. Shit rolls down the hill, Doc. It really does. Professor McCoy's pop culture reviews. Thank you for the $2. Do you have a channel? Should I go check it out? Pop culture reviews. That's my thing. That's what I like, that stuff. Justin Gould for $10. Hail, I'm watching my way through classic Doctor Who. Oh, good for you. Currently on the third Doctor. Yes. Oh, such a good era. Yep. When I eventually get to New Who, is the 12th Doctor where the wokeness starts, or are his episodes watchable? That is a good question for the panel. We will start with Starry. Where would you recommend he stop?
Oh, it's difficult because I'd like to say season 9, but I really did like World Enough and Time and the Doctor Falls. So maybe cut off there.
So yeah, find a couple episodes within that. Sorry. And then you Bulls Trek, where would you stop?
End of season 8. I would call that the last golden age of Doctor Who. Peter Capaldi's performance that season is absolutely a work of genius. I think it's the best interpretation of the Doctor that we've ever had. And it's depressing to think that this was only a little over 5 years ago. Yeah, five and a half years ago, where we thought that this was going to be a golden age of Doctor Who. And there are brilliant episodes, that series. Mummy on the Orient Express, Flatline, those are two that come to mind.
Yes.
And if you stop there is some minor wokeness squeezing into series 8, but it was still very much Stephen Moffat's show. I would stop there because the wokeness comes in with series 9. The quality goes down the hill, just explodes.
But we did get Heaven Sent and Husband's a River Song, and in fact that would be a really good ending.
Heaven Sent actually might be a great, but do not watch Hellbent because that
don't.
But yeah, actually, Starry, you're right. Heaven series 8, then watch Heaven Sent. And look at Heaven Sent as the send-off to Doctor Who. Do not watch Hellbent because that will ruin it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to end it. I would agree with that. That is my assessment. I would watch through series 8. I mean, I tell most people 50th anniversary, bounce. I mean, right there, that's a good ending. You can just pretend, but then you're missing Capaldi. So you get series 8, watch the Husband's a River Song, Hellbent, and then don't watch another episode after that. Just leave it alone, and you're good. Capaldi, I wasn't happy with the choice when I first heard it, and I think it was like 2 episodes. I'm like, okay, I like this guy a lot. But
I cheered when he was announced. Like this was the Doctor that I'd been waiting for.
I didn't. I'll be honest. But
it could be an acquired taste.
I liked it because obviously I'd seen him as Malcolm Tucker.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And then when he came out holding his, I'm blanking on what they're called. What William Hartnell was told. Not his collar. You know what my thing? Came out holding his collar like that, and I just thought, yes, I know. I got that reference. I know what you're doing there.
Yeah,
This is a fan.
I wish I could reach my Capaldi, but
well, actually, that's one thing I wanted. Have you ever seen The Thick of It, Gary?
I have never seen The Thick of It.
Okay, that's what sold us on Capaldi being announced.
Yeah.
The Thick of It. Think of it as the Series 8 Doctor, angrier with the word. Like there are swear compilations on YouTube, but yeah, I think that's what sold me. If you'd seen Thick of It before the announcement, you'd be like, "Holy shit, this guy is brilliant." So yeah, that's Starry. I'm sure you'd agree with me. That's our task for Gary. You have to check out The Thick of It, one of the best British TV shows ever made, starring Peter Capaldi, and it holds records for the amount of F-bombs dropped in a single episode, several times over.
And most of them are by Capaldi. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's just. Yeah. Oh, it is awesome.
I had heard of it, but I had never seen it. So I only knew him from Torchwood and Doctor Who. That was it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always kind of saw him as kind of a foppy little coward. But
no, you've got to watch The Thick of It. Honestly, I watched that entire series up my DVD set at least once a year. It is that good. So, and this is to everybody in the chat. If you've never checked out The Thick of It, you owe it to yourself to check out that show. It is mind-blowing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And true. Very true.
Oh, it is true. Yeah.
He's kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he's perfect for the Doctor. The Doctor has to be played by character actors, period. No dashing movie stars. You have to be kind of odd looking and kind of odd. And character actors always fit that perfectly. And that's why some of the best character actors have played the Doctor. And that's what they're going to need to go back to. I'm sorry, if they want to get the world audience back, they have to go to really basic. I mean, the classic fans are not going to like this. They have to go to young and dashing with a young and likable companion. And listen, it wasn't Capaldi who turned a lot of Americans off. It was Clara. Clara turned so many people off, and including myself, which sucks because one of my favorite Moffat episodes, Clara is great in it, and I love Asylum of the Daleks. I love that episode. I think it's freaking brilliant.
That version of Clara was really good, and the one in The Snowman, it was everything after.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing about Clara. If you watch, Jenna Coleman is actually playing a completely different character each of the 3 series she's in, because Clara in the beginning was tolerable. By the Capaldi years, just absolutely insufferable, and by her final season, probably the most hated companion in history.
Yep.
And that was down to writing, and I think a lot of that, again, I think it comes down to BBC influence, especially in Series 9. Whereas if you take Clara just as the Series 7B version, it's perfectly tolerable. After that, it's like Rose. Same thing happened with Rose. When she was with Eccleston, great character. When she was with Tennant, that is what makes Series 2 probably my least favorite pre-Jodie Whittaker season. I should say no, pre-Series 9 seasons out of the first 8.
Yeah.
I gotta think about that. I don't think I have a least favorite. I like it all.
I like Series 2, but it hasn't aged well. But it's
rough.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Series 3 fan. I love Series 3.
Series 3 is my favorite season.
Well,
I like Martha. I do.
Yep.
I'm a Martha fan. I could not believe when I saw her in Sense8. Oh my God. I don't know if you ever saw Sense8 on Netflix. It's got Freema aging. It might change your view on her.
Okay,
my goodness, made me blush. It was it's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty.
Okay, I'm checking that out.
Yeah, the first episode. I mean, you're gonna like not in a good way. Well, I mean, like it's her, yes, but what she's doing, I'm not into. And it was done right here near my house. And but yeah, it's damn. It's a long way from Doctor Who.
I'm just Googling that.
They go opposite from Doctor Who. And because this is a family show, we're not going to get into what they're talking about.
No, but I just out of my own curiosity, I'm just gonna let's see. So what's the show called?
Sense8, and it's written by J. Michael Straczynski and the Wachowskis. We'll call them the Wachowskis. Not sure where they were at this point, so we'll just call them Wachowskis. And it was on Netflix for 2 seasons, and it was a show that it's a pretty woke, and so Hale, I'm watching. Okay, so Justin Gould, thank you for the $10. Nicholas,
that sounds terrible.
It's fucking terrible. Believe me.
Okay, I'm not watching this. Okay.
No. It's just there's a scene that she's got. I mean, I don't want to get into it again. There might be kids out there, but it's bad. Kids, don't watch it. Nicholas Horton for £2. It's not our doctor anymore. It's now Dr. Nasty. It is. It's Dr. Nasty. Totally agree. As Bulls Trek says.
Yep, that's how I distinguish it. You have Doctor Who up until 2017, and this show is now called Dr. Nasty because I refuse to admit that it's the same show.
And I do apologize. I need to refer to her by her proper name. The first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. So you have Dr. Nasty. I have the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, because that's what the Access Media refers to her all the time as. So.
And I just got a tweet in response to my previous thing. Do you think Coleman is a worse companion than Mel? I will say, and this is on my Twitter, but obviously they're listening to the stream.
Yeah.
I would say Mel is redeemed in Big Finish. So if you listen to her on Big Finish, you'll see her in a whole different light. Mel could be grating, and mainly it was the screaming and what she was made to work with. Clara is a hateful character in her final 2 series. So yes, Coleman is not the actress, the companion.
Yeah, the companion.
I would like to see in years to come Capaldi and Coleman doing Big Finish and being written by other writers. I'd love to see how that would pan out.
Well, because Jenna Coleman's a good actress. I mean,
and she's got chemistry with Capaldi. When we see him in interviews together, they're really good friends.
Oh yeah, I've never held it against the actress. It's the character and the way she was written.
No, there's
your last 2 seasons.
There's one good scene in Hellbent. Okay, it's the scene where Clara finds out how long the doctor was in the compression dial.
Yeah.
And that was a good scene. Like that's just that little moment in there, and she finds out that he was in there for 4 billion years. Now I don't like the concept. I just didn't. I like that episode. Don't like him being there for 4 billion years. That makes the doctor ain't fucking like a god. But neither here nor there. When she finds out, that's a brilliant emotional scene. I love it. And he's just like, what? Supposed is that how long they said? Oh, okay. Typical doctor response. That was a good moment. There's moments. That's it's the hard with the Moffat era. Even watching Hellbent, which I hated, it was a million times better than what we're getting now.
Yep.
John Ellis Bush for £4.99. How much longer do we need to suffer this? I want my favorite franchises to be fun again. Thank you. That's it. That's it. I mean, as we're going to be called alt-right trolls and all this other shit. Is wanting stuff to be fun an alt-right position? Is it? Because then, yeah, sure. Because I just want shit to be fun. I've been a fan of this show for a long time. I don't get political on my Twitter. I don't get political anywhere. I just want to enjoy my stuff and not be political somewhere. Because I don't care. I don't care. You guys could be as political as you want. I would never judge anybody. Be as political as you want in your Twitter feeds. Just, you know what? Give us a break once in a while, or show both sides. But according to Lucy Jones in her old article, neutrality is another problematic position, apparently.
And that's what entertainment needs to be. I said this on my stream yesterday. I've said this a few times. This is one of my standard rants, but entertainment needs to be apolitical. You can address issues, but do it in the way, say, Star Trek, the original series did, where the issues are there. They're presented in metaphor, but you're not beaten over the head with it. The audience is really given the opportunity to make up their own minds on important topics. And especially if you look at the world now in 2020, every country is divided down the middle between left, right, and, well, people in the middle. So if you take a stance, and it doesn't matter whether it comes from the far right or whether it comes from the far left, you're going to alienate half your audience. And that's
Yeah.
where Hollywood is they have completely missed the point. And I would be just as pissed off if this was coming from the far right as if it was right now coming from the far left. And that's always been my take on it. And if you want to destroy a show, the best way of doing that is getting political, because half your audience is going to run away.
1000% agree with that.
Yep.
Yes.
100%. And Stephen Moffat did talk about this in an interview. Where it was for one of the Blu-rays where he said that
season
forever.
John Pertwee's Blu-ray, I believe it was a special feature on that.
It was the season, or his 4th season Blu-ray. Stephen Moffat, and he doesn't mention Chibs by name, but you can tell that's what he's talking about. But I think that was beyond, as I look at it now, I think that was beyond just a stab at Chibs. Because, as we were saying, there is a massive shift in tone, in writing, in everything in his last 2 seasons. And I think contractually, he probably can't mention this, or at least for a certain amount of time, he can't talk about it. But I think there's bitterness on his part, because you could tell between series 8 and 9, something happened behind the scenes. And I think that is also part of what he's talking about. Like Stephen Moffat, he is very political, but if you look at especially the Matt Smith era, it's very apolitical. It's probably as close to fantasy as Doctor Who has ever gotten. So, yeah, I think, which is why when I think of it now, I used to hold Stephen Moffat responsible, but I honestly think it was the BBC. And so I think it's a stab at Chibs, but it's a stab at the BBC. And I think someday, hopefully he writes a biography and we get to find out exactly what happened between series 8 and 9.
Yeah, God, I would love to find out someday.
I would.
But I can't remember. I remember somebody telling me, I don't know, remember who it was, at the comic shop, that this diversity and inclusion initiative was coming. And it was around 2012. Like they said, big changes are coming. And I think it was just a fan site. It was a fan Doctor Who site, just warning ambiguously that big changes are coming to the BBC. Just be ready for it. And they weren't kidding. They were not kidding.
Came in 2016, but Doctor Who, the change was 2015. So they were pushing this before the strategy actually came in. And now it's rigidly enforced. The idea was it came in 2016. It was to be rigidly enforced by 2018. And obviously we're seeing what came of that.
Yep. The death of art. Nick Bloxberg for £2. The green guy's message was a big old okay boomer. Yep.
That's what I got too. Except he's like 10 years younger than I am, so I guess if he's a boomer, then No, it's pretty much the message is if you're over 30, you're an idiot and shut up. It was like that. There are many points that I laughed, probably in anger, while watching this episode, but that was one of my anger laughs. I should have actually recorded a live reaction to this one.
I laughed at the end when they showed the monster at the end. I laughed. I was like, oh my God, that was terrible. Zeta Girl 1 for 699 Huffington Posts. It's an HUF monetary. I call them Huffington Posts. Sounds like absolute trash, even worse than season 11. This episode was hot off 2 of the best written episodes for the Jodie era, which were still bad. Yes, it was bad. The Talons of Wayne Chang for £5. Last season, it was after the forced episode that people stopped watching. This season, I think it will be after this episode. It was awful and so boring. Awful and boring. You can't, woke can't save you for that long. It just can't. It helps you get free press. That's it.
I'm just refreshing from the website, which shall or that forum, which shall remain nameless.
Sorry, go on, Volstrek.
Oh God, this is getting even better. No, I'm looking at the ratings here, and this nameless forum, the one that loves Gary and I so much.
Yes.
Which normally every episode, like there are still the ideologues that are saying this is the worst thing ever. But I'm looking at the ratings. So they do a rating from 10 all the way down to 1. So normally with the Whittaker episode, you'll have a large block voting 10, which is fantastic, the absolute pinnacle. They have 20 votes. The lowest rating, which I would rather listen to a tape loop of leaf blower noise, is at 73. And literally it's sitting in the middle. I honestly don't think I've ever seen this for a Jodie Whittaker episode. So even the woke ideologues are turning against this. Like, this is, I'm just reading the comments and they absolutely hate it. Yeah, this one was written by Greta Thunberg, probably.
I listen, the ratings are going to get bad, really, really bad. And I wonder who was saying that for, you were saying it before I was. Clownfish TV was saying it. I've been saying it. Doomcock's been saying it. Starry's been saying it. There's a bunch of people on Twitter have been saying it. We've been warning you for 2 years. And yeah, I'm going to say I told you so on this one. God damn it. Told you so.
I'm going to start linking videos from 2.5 years ago.
Dude, do a compilation. Like, really. Like, I might do it for you.
Although I sounded like a robot back then, but I'll have to go back to the robotic voice when people thought I was a text-to-type program. I called all this 2 years ago, and I could look at the comments where people were calling me bad names. Well, actually, that hasn't changed. But, yep.
I still call you bad names, too, jerk.
That's okay.
But you're our jerk, man. The Cecil of Christmas Past, by the way, Cecil is love, Cecil is life. Gary,
hey, Cecil.
What's up? Gary, because of you in DC, I'm going to watch Doctor Who for the first time, but stopping after season 10. Never interested in the series before you guys. Wow. It's really good. I would. I don't know about you, Starry, but I would recommend if you've never seen Doctor Who, start with the modern series first, and then get into the classic after that. So it's a little easier for people to jump on, but start at the beginning. Chris Eccleston, and then if you like it, then get in the classic, because that opens up a whole new world for you.
Yep. Start with Tom Baker. First 3 seasons. That's your best entry point to the classic series. Second to that would be John Pertwee. Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Also, for the longest time in the mid 2000s, best action figures ever made. Period. In their simplicity and in their detail, in their paint jobs, the looks, the characters look, the molds are perfect. It's not over articulated. I can nerd out all day. Doctor Who action figures were the best ever made. Perfect size, everything about it. I've got a whole entire wall dedicated to them. Used to be an entire room till Jodie Whittaker came along. It's Just Plain Joe. By the way, applause for you, my friend.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Actually, I keep calling him. Yeah, Joel, I have to have you on a live stream soon. We will talk, man.
Yeah. Let's get him on. Let's get him. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Let's definitely get Joe on. It's Just Plain Joe for $2. Hey there, Gary and Chris. The RT score is now 7%. I don't know who Chris is. Chris Chibnall? Yes, Chris Chibnall is.
That's me.
I didn't want to dox you.
So. That's okay. So literally, my name is all over the place. So if you watch some of my live streams, everybody says my actual name. I just go by Bullstrek, but yes, I'm Chris. When I was young and in trouble, it was Christopher.
Christopher. Mine was Gary Allen. That's my middle name. Starry, you were never in trouble.
Okay, here's doxing. We have the same middle name.
Oh, how do you spell it?
Allen.
You spell it wrong. Mine is Alan. But that's cool. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm named after my grampy. Here we go. Just Plain Joe, you're awesome. Just Plain Joe really helped my early Doctor Who videos and stuff. Always shot me articles, still does it. Absolute great supporter of all of us. Just want to give him mad love. Thank you. It's now at 5%, my friend. Macau 27 is a member at the proto molecule level. That is awesome. Don't stop the work. I have emojis on the way and badges. Very excited about that. Jolton Burrow for $5. Hail, I wish we could get some videos on good things like The Expanse. The Fandom Menace is not always angry, but also uplifting to qualify stuff. We We do, Joel. Unfortunately, people don't watch it. The algorithm is not kind. You got to kind of hate the game on that one and not the player. I recommend, Joel, that you go to Nerderotic Live, and Geeky Candy and I did a big, long live stream on The Expanse. My Rotten Tomatoes Witcher video is a positive. I'm critical of critics, but that's not negative. And I'm I'm praising the hell out of that show. And I am working on a Witcher review that's mostly positive. It's not perfectly positive, but it's mostly positive. But yeah, we should. I mean, but it's up to Hollywood to make good TV shows, and then we can cover them.
Yeah.
But thanks, Joel. You're right. You got to praise the good as much as you criticize the bad. At least that's what I got to do. Buzzkill for $4.99. No comment. Just thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Emery Kalam for $2. Are Silurians mad to find out Moon is just an egg? Were they mad? They should have known because they were here first. So that was a dumb episode.
That was the worst episode of it's sad, but over the past few years, the worst episode of Doctor Who, that title has been replaced several times. But yeah, you Capaldi era, just skip that episode and you'll be better for it. That and the Forest of the Trees, or what was it called? Forest of the Dead.
No, in the Forest of the Night.
In the Forest of the Night, yeah. Skip that. Skip those 2 episodes and you'll be fine.
For one, In the Forest of the Night sounds like a bad pop song from the 80s. In the Forest of the Night.
It's a poem. It's a famous poem over here. It just
poetry. You guys see school and literacy. I'm American, okay? Comic book. That's as far as it goes.
Don't worry, I'm Canadian. We're just as bad over here.
You're like, it's a famous poet, dummy. And I'm like, yeah. Dummy. Conservation, not environmentalism, for $2 from Mike C. Yes, exactly. It's a political movement, and it often gets conflated with people who somehow like to belch out smoke into our atmosphere and kill things and kill our oceans. No, I don't think anybody's actually for that. I just don't. It's kind of like being for war.
We're all happy. We don't mind, issues like environmentalism. I mean, look at the Green Death. But that was also a really good story.
Yeah, and if you look at it, that was 1973. Yeah, 73.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, that's how Doctor Who used to look at these issues. Compare the Green Death to the garbage that we got today. And that's all you need to know. The difference between real Doctor Who and the Dr. Nasty Chibs era of Doctor Who.
Yep. I want to suffer from the Green Death rather than watch any of this new shit. Mark C. For $5, a disposed bad battery from your electric car is more dangerous to the environment than CO2 emissions. You are correct, sir, Mark C. And I know a lot about that stuff because of where I used to work. Yes, those batteries, that acid either can be recycled, but the acid has to go somewhere. Okay, it doesn't just disappear. It doesn't disapparate. It doesn't teleport off the planet. It gets dumped, generally in giant pits in a big country that starts with a C.
And who is it that is buying these fancy cars from the company named after our former friend Nikolai? I'm like, it's not us. I could never afford one of those things. They start at what, 125 grand. So we know who's driving these.
Yeah, the ones that run well. The Model 3, which is the affordable one, I'd wait a couple of years to buy that. Just trust me. Door handles don't work, stuff like that. I can't talk about much, but that one's a known issue.
Yeah.
But just wait a couple more years. The truck looks cool. I'll admit it looks cool. But yeah, that big old battery, which is the entire length of the bottom of the car, I'll give you. Okay, so there was an accident.
I was about to say, what happens when you get in an accident with those things? Like, that can't be good with that acid.
No.
So it caught on fire, and it got so hot, it took an entire truck of foam to put it out. Then they took it to the dump. 2 weeks later, the battery caught on fire again. 2 weeks later. That's scary
With
shit.
My my gasoline 4-wheel drive SUV. I'll
Ah.
just die the normal way.
What do you have?
I have a 2016 Hyundai Santa Fe luxury.
There you go.
Bought used, always buy used.
Yep. Me too.
And you got your TJ, I believe.
I've got my FJ Cruiser, man. I love that thing. Bought it used from Texas. It was
Cool.
cheaper.
So-
It was cheaper to buy it in Texas and have it towed to California than buy it in California.
That's insane.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Although still probably cheaper than Canada.
Yeah. Do you drive? Do you drive, Starry?
I don't know. No, I've not passed my
Brits
test.
don't
No.
drive. God.
Yeah.
Do you Uber or do you take the train or?
Yeah, it's public transport. Yeah, it's trains and buses.
It's pretty fabulous over there. Your public transportation, your PT is good. London, the tube was awesome. It was clean. Nice people are nice.
Mhm.
No, it's been about 10 years since I've been there, but here it's nasty. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's up here. If you don't have a car, good luck getting anywhere on the weekends.
Yep. So that's SoCal.
Wow.
There's public transportation. You get on a bus, it's a 3-hour ride. You might as well walk.
Wow.
Yeah. TC the Mandalorian for £2. Anyone buy one of those Gwyneth Paltrow candles?
Oh, yes.
F no.
No.
F no.
I believe I missed something here. What did she do with the candle, or do I want to know?
There is a candle scented with it's Gwyneth scented, we'll say.
The
It's
hell?
Paltrow scented. Yeah, look it up. It's
Okay, no, that sounds terrible. Okay,
it's really terrible. Jody Bowie for $2. Is it the happening now? Did they call M Night LOL the happening? Oh yeah,
This
maybe
made the happening look good.
yeah, it really did. Oh, I was thinking of Jeremy's happening over at the Geeks and Gamers, the Daddy Waffle happening. Tim Riggs for $5. The critical aspect is, unfortunately, political. After Boris landslided, I guarantee the BBC is going to go hard everyone on ideology. Yeah, and we're getting in Picard as well, Tim. The only reason Patrick Stewart came back to this character that he loves so much was to flush it down the toilet because he was whinging about some politics.
yeah, I saw your video that made my heart cry.
I was purposely, I did not make any videos. I had heard tons of information. I mean, the same stuff Doomcock heard. I heard reshoots, bad test screenings, everything. And I kept quiet for a reason. I wanted the show to be good. I'm like, I don't really want to piss on, I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough criticizing Star Trek Discovery. I don't want to criticize Sir Patrick Stewart. I don't. I love the guy's work. I've seen him do his Christmas Carol thing multiple times. It's beautiful. But like after reading that interview, all bets are off now. I'm like, they just don't care. I mean, I feel dumb and naive for thinking that they might have cared. I mean, I feel like an idiot, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, when was this show announced? It was last summer, right?
It was last summer. It was hastily put together. Yeah.
Yeah. So I initially I was excited, but it's
Same here.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the words. Yeah, I haven't actually covered anything on Picard since I did a trailer response video last summer. It's kind of like you don't want to cover it because you don't want to see the show you don't want to see this character get destroyed. And I'm approaching the premiere of this with absolute dread.
This one's going to hurt. I mean, Discovery has nothing to do with Star Trek whatsoever. It's easy to dismiss it, but Picard is such a beloved character, and TNG is my favorite Star Trek anyway, and I just dread is the right word.
It is dread. Sorry. There we go. Oh my God, I cannot show that. Kevin Gray sent me something on email. I'm like, oh no. Oh shit. That is okay. Mark C, told me to check my Twitter DMs. I did. I can't read it out loud. I just want to publicly say thank you. Thank you. More news at 11 on that. Thank you. I promise. Just people remind me to refer back to that in a later live stream. I'll let you guys know off the air. And then I will respond. I hate to keep people, but this is something I actually have to sit on for a minute. Okay. So thank you, Mark. You're awesome. And check out Mark C on Twitter. Is a brilliant artist, by the way. He did a Cyber Frog, and he's going to draw a Cosmic Crater Girl for me. By the way, I'll take care of you, Mark. I'll chatter. He's really good. 13th Doctor is the Valyard. Haha, says Damo rises for £2. I would love that idea. Absolutely love that idea. I mean, I not execution, just to explain it away, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. She is a permanent Doctor forever. Not going to change. They're not going to make her. I honestly wish Sacha Dhawan would play the Doctor next. If we had a choice, I think he does have the chops to do it.
He's a good actor.
Yeah,
Limitations are what he was left to work with.
Yep. He overacted a bit in the first episode, but the second episode, I thought his acting was better. The writing is still atrocious.
I think it was the directing.
Yep. Yeah, it really was. And the directing in this episode was terrible. Like, first time director. I didn't see who directed it.
It was the same guy who directed Spyfall Part 2, which explains a lot.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I heard they were bringing back some directors from the old, from the classic era, or not.
Not that I know of. No, as far I'm actually just gonna pull up. See what else.
I might have heard wrong then.
Episodes. Well, no, Chibs has disowned everything that came before. I'm like, look at Mark Gatiss. He, love him or hate him, he did one episode a season until almost every season until Chibs came back. Okay, so episode. Let's see, Spyfall. Directed. Jamie Magnus Stone, he's Chibs. Lee Haven Jones, Chibs era. Nita Manzoor, Chibs. Jamie Magnus Stone again.
That was him. Lee Haven Jones. He's the one who directed this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Emma Sullivan. Yeah. So no, they're all new directors and all Chibs era writers. No, he has disowned everything that came before. All writers, all directors, everybody behind the scenes. The entire visual effects team, as far as I know, was let go. Murray Gold, publicly, he left, but I'm fairly certain he was let go. So yeah,
white male. White male, couldn't have him there. He's a white male.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, it's all Chibs era crap.
What did you think to the music in this one, by the way?
I don't even notice the music.
I don't either.
No,
it's
very droning
generic.
noise. Yeah, where Murray Gold, he had a theme for everything. It was impossible. Even, when I thought he was getting a little bit burned out closer to the end, you notice Gold's score in the background. This guy, why am I forgetting his name suddenly? That'll come to me. But yeah,
his name.
It's Sego Nakanola.
Akinola, yeah, that's it. Yeah, his
Cannoli.
Cannoli, yeah, so we'll call him Cannoli. So Cannoli's score is like getting a keyboard and just bashing it to make random noises. That's his Doctor Who score. My dog could make a score better than that. No, that's
totally.
Especially in listen to The Woman Who Fell to Earth, where initially I thought, and this is still in my review, I'm like, okay, they're doing something different. They're going atmospheric. Then it's went to the season. I'm like, my God, he's doing the same thing in every episode. This isn't even music. It's bashing a keyboard.
It's bashing a keyboard and Fruity Loops, like putting noises in a loop, which is quite fun, actually. But I mean, when it's done with somebody by talent. Get It Together Now for $2 says Rotten Tomatoes has a Doctor Who season 100 to 100. I noticed that. I was just poking around Get It Together Now, and I was noticing that over the last 3 days, Rotten Tomatoes is doing a big change to their website or something, because they're like, there's things not working. You can't get to certain audience scores now. And yeah, I actually screenshotted a bunch of stuff and screen recorded a bunch of stuff last night for for the video because I'm guessing my Doctor Who review will probably just be about the ratings. I don't want to talk about this episode again.
It's I just refreshed it.
Yeah.
It's back to
Yes.
7, but user rating is 128. So something's and it continues to load in my browser. So
that's your browser. Yeah, that might be your browser.
Yeah.
I pulled it up in 3 different browsers.
Oh,
and
shit.
It's doing the same thing.
That's weird.
So Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. So yeah.
Wow, that man is thorough.
Yeah.
Bull's Trick is thorough. Fixie Clary for $5. Chibnall equals Nowhere Man. He's as blind as he can be. Just sees what he wants to see. Nowhere Man. Can you see me at all? You're right. Starry emailed me. There's a great little video of Chibnall describing Doctor Who, and she said, "Yeah, this is Chibnall describing his own episode or Ed Himes' episode, which is it's that famous video when he's young and he's got little pimples on his face and stuff."
I've always wanted to use that video, but it would be taken down in a second. I cannot use any live action Doctor Who anything in my videos.
I got away with it. I did. I think
I did it last year, and then because when Tony and I used to do our discussions, which are still on, she would do these re-edits of the episode at the beginning, which were absolutely brilliant. So we got to. It takes you away, ironically, was the one where no matter what we did, no matter what we changed, it was blocked. So I haven't been able to use any live action Doctor Who since then.
That sucks. It must be a bot thing. I tried to put through my Picard video, and I got copyright claimed 3 times.
Can you read it? Will it are you allowed to read it?
Read what?
What he said in the video. Will they let you do that?
Yeah, I can read it. Let me get. I could probably get away with showing. Is it from an actual, is it from a Doctor Who Blu-ray or anything, or is this just a BBC?
No, it was a TV show called Open Air.
You should be able to play audio. Audio clips are fair use. Period. Okay. So, but I mean, it doesn't mean they won't hit you. Honestly, I don't care because I'm going to be reloading this here.
Or do a screen share, but just minimize the window and just play the audio.
All right, you know what? Screw it. Listen, I live on the edge, guys. I live on the edge. I'm a rebel, Dottie.
Well, if you get copyright claimed, at least you got 2 hours into the stream.
Exactly, and I can just re-upload it, but say, hey, this might be exclusive content here, folks. Here we go. But this is Starry sent this to me. This is Chris Chibnall on his own episode. Here we go.
It could have been a lot better. It could have been.
Let's start that over.
It could have been a lot better. It could have been slightly better written, especially the last story. Well, not only that, but it was also very cliched. It was very routine, running up and down corridors and silly monsters. Perhaps a little too routine Doctor Who, very much what the audience is expecting. It's not really very challenging for them to watch. Well, it was the story itself has been done in a different way in the past few years, very much a whodunit on board a space liner, and very traditional sort of thing that people would expect Doctor Who to fall into. But I still felt that the story was fairly boring.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh god, I love that clip.
I do too.
Oh, it's really come back to bite him.
It really is. You know, sometimes it's an oldie but a goodie. It's an oldie but a goodie.
But the couple that he was talking to, Gary, that's Pip and Jane Baker.
Jane Baker, yep.
So it was perfectly all right for him to criticize writers in person, but you can't do that to him.
Nope.
I would take their stuff over anything Chibs has written, and they were in one of the less than highly regarded eras of the original series. So go Chibs. Although if you look at that clip, I know people that knew Chibs when he was young, and when you look at that clip, it's so true.
Sufferable. I know there's less than stellar eras from the classic from the classic show, but I mean, the ones that I watched when I was younger, it was we didn't have access to much at PBS, so they always kept like the Third Doctor and the Fourth Doctor on a loop when I was paying attention. When they started bringing Davidson in, I wasn't paying attention as much because it was my teenage years, girls, boom, gone. But then I came back and I started watching them on VHS. When I could, I worked at a video store, so I could take them home, and I was watching just random episodes. I mean, because we just couldn't watch them all in order. And I never hated the Sylvester McCoy. Colin Baker, I hated what he wore, but I don't know.
Colin Baker, I like as the Doctor. Sylvester McCoy, it's series or original Doctor Who, just to distinguish them. We always call it season, but season 24 until Whittaker was my least favorite season. But if you look at the transformation over that period, and it was more Andrew Cartnell than John Nathan Turner, who got JNT just didn't care by that point, so he gave Cartnell free reign. But if you look at the change in season 25 and then to season 26 is actually one of my personal favorite seasons, and I think it is Doctor Who at its absolute height. And although I guess you can kind of give JNT some credit. He was trying to do something different with the show with season 24. He wanted to go this absurdist science fiction route. It ended the way it did with the 4 worst stories in new history. But they, unlike what they're doing now, they changed course and went in a completely different direction with the 7th Doctor.
Yeah. And watching it back then, I'm trying, because I've watched it in order since. I've told the story. I used to work at Technicolor. I got everything. That was out at the time. Okay, this is like I don't have missing, or I didn't have missing episodes, but I watched everything in order that I could with my kid, and I liked it. I liked a lot of the stuff that I love Trial of the Time Lords. I love it. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, so I'm not that hypercritical of Doctor Who. That's how bad this shit is. So that's what I'm trying to say. But it's okay to be. Some eras are better. It's harder for me. I know this makes classic Q fans cringe. It's hard for me to get through the black and white stuff. It is, but I've done it. I powered through, and I'm going to do it again. And I love Hartnell now. He wasn't my favorite in the beginning because I'm American. It's like black and white, bad, But no, I've learned to like it. It just took time. That's all. Just took time. All right, because we have to let these poor people go at some point. I've been just meandering on. Watching Pyramids of Mars tonight to recover.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Actually, now that you've said that, I might watch that tonight.
So I imagine I'm not alone as the audience that you have to watch a classic era Who to cleanse your palate after watching series 11. It works. Otherwise, you just have that bad taste in your mouth. Do you think the BBC would listen to someone? Thank you, by the way, Talons of Wang Chang for £2. Do you think the BBC would listen to someone like me or you guys to fix it? Of course not.
Nope.
We are
no way in hell.
We are considered too old and out of touch to know what is popular. Ridiculous. I have been here for 43 years. Chumley 73, and that's the biggest misassumption by the morons at the BBC in Hollywood. They forget that we have kids. We also have kids. Plus, we are not dead. Okay, we are actually the ones with the most money, and we are we might not be the biggest section of the audience, but if you go to basically how much money we spend on it, kids don't spend money on collectibles and shit anymore. They're actually probably the worst people to go after right now. Because they're not going to buy anything. You can't advertise on this shit anymore because they won't watch commercials.
They won't buy the physical media, and that's always been a big money driver for Doctor Who, and that's us old, uncool people that do that.
Yep. Yeah. Nigel Mayo for £5. The TARDIS was on my wedding cake, and my wife and I cosplayed as Smith and River. Now I'm about to dump the show. That sucks, man. I mean, it's that's the part where it's like, this isn't fun. This isn't fun. Chumley 73 for £10. The Deadly Assassin is a perfect example of why Gallifrey is critical to the show. There could be so many great stories that could be done with that planet. Now they've lost the opportunity. Yes.
Yep.
I got an email from Joel Tumburo. I got multiple emails on why all of you explained to you. I mean, you each have your own episode of why Gallifrey is important to this show. And I think all of us always thought it would come back, even after the time where it's like, of course it's going to come back. But to get rid of it again was just cheap and basic, and it shows what a hack he is.
Yep.
Theta Sigma for $5. Here's my thought. Doctor Who will go on hiatus and say in 5 years or so it will come back. Have hope, a dark time. Yes, it shall come back. But how shall it come back? I mean, it could come back worse.
Yeah, it's it needs to go away for 10 years minimum, maybe even longer.
What did you think of Fringe? I really liked it, says Luvia for 10 Rons. I thought it was okay. That's like the one J.J. Abrams thing I can stomach. Dan for £4.99. Doctor Who inspired me to do a degree in astrophysics. It's influenced me so much. It's so upsetting how the show and fans have been treated. Yep.
Yeah.
John Ellis Bush for £9.99. The Doctor Who audio was trying to tell us all for ages. Big Finish isn't the producers of Doctor Who audio stuff. It's a prediction of the death of Doctor Who. The long way around. It really is, probably. And it's the only thing, honestly, if that's all we have left, I'm okay with that. It's not all of it's perfect, but they try and they still love Doctor Who. That there's no doubt
they
there.
care.
Yep.
Demonic Bioman for $2. Professor Dinkles to replace Jodie. What an upgrade. Yes.
I'll let him know he may do a cosplaying video. We'll see.
Lobo Cop 69 for 100 PLNs. I chose to walk away from Star Wars. The Doctor is next. By the way, a bit off topic. Do you know why Palpatine kept using his lightning after his face melted in the Fall of Skywalker? It was autoerotic lightning-nication.
Yeah. It's always kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
Well, I like the movie, but that's one of the things that have bugged me.
Yep. Get it together now for $2. Capaldi, great. Clara, poor writing. Bill equals worst companion. Bill was pretty bad, but she had a personality. She could have been good. She looked like she worked in Hot Dog on a Stick. Sorry.
She did challenge the Doctor, which is more than what any of these have done.
Yep. It was just one season of her. It wasn't enough, and you knew we were only getting one season. And it was all about Bill. And it's like, I didn't care about Bill, and I didn't care about season 10. And it just, I guess, I don't know, subliminally, I knew they were going to do this with the Doctor. And that was always in the back of my mind with 10. It's like, oh my God, here we go. Yep. And I'm just waiting, and it happened. Heiress of Chaos for $10. Starry, you really should start your own channel. YouTube will always be, YouTube. Don't let it stop you. You're a natural for this, my friend. You certainly have my support. Oh,
thank you, Iris. Oh, she's lovely. I will think about it. It's time as well and resources, but yeah. I'm still doing the podcasting though with Dan. Hello, Dan, if you're listening.
Cheers, Dan.
Hey, Dan. What's up, dude?
Rebecca Gold. Great show. Great internet-based show, web show here on the YouTubes. For £5. We should make a Doctor Who fan film and reverse the woke stuff back at them. Yes.
Yep.
That would, I think it would, if we could, I don't know, if the production was good enough, we could embarrass them, kind of like Star Trek Continues did and Axanar did to Current Trek. Mark C says, I miss Rose. I do too. I miss a lot of things, Mark. I miss things I didn't know I missed.
I miss season 1 Rose.
Yes.
Yes.
Capaldi, not Capaldi. Eccleston was so great.
I love that. I have to show you my t-shirt, guys. Hang on. Because I don't know if you can see it that way. You see that, Bad Wolf?
Yep.
Yes.
That's how much I love that first season.
Yep.
Yes. Go on, Bulls Trek.
Oh no, I was just saying, before when we were just chatting before, I said with the series 1, my DVD set is beat to hell because I've watched that, I think probably more than anything else in my entire collection. I love that. I know, I'd say at this point, I know those episodes from memory. So yeah, There's something special about
Yeah.
series 1, and in some ways, looking back on it, I'm almost happy now that Eccleston only did the one season, because it was like catching lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
And then we got
Yeah.
something a little bit different with David Tennant, because it's definitely one of the top 3 series of Doctor Who. I think series 1 and 3 are by far my favorite New Who seasons. And series 8, I would have said at one point, until we saw what came after it. But yeah, there's just something special about that first return season, and the excitement building up to it was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, and season 5, series 5 as well.
Yeah, the reinvention.
Yes.
Up. But I love Bad Wolf too. Okay, my favorite moment in Doctor Who was the reveal after Turn Left. The Bad Wolf everywhere, the music, and I was just like, that's so great. God damn it, it was so perfect. And I love the silliness that followed. I really did. I liked Bad Wolf so much. I got my little whiteout, and I made, because they didn't have a Bad Wolf TARDIS, so I made a bunch. At my store, I bought a bunch of TARDIS and painted Bad Wolf on it and sold them. Marked them up a couple bucks. It worked. Here we go. Father Christopher Miller says, woke makes me want to use profanities. Father Christopher Miller, I didn't think you were really here. I really am sorry for cussing and using the Lord's name in vain. Although I am not a religious person, it doesn't mean you can't be respectful. So my apologies. So.
I do. Yes, I apologize as well for my rant right 30 seconds into the stream.
I'm really glad I didn't get into the Sense8 stuff then. Really, really glad. Ginger Husley for $10. I'm doing what I can with the self-imposed Wilderness Years 2.0. Having hosted 3 Doctor Who charity zines in the past 18 months, 2 of the 3 were 12-centric and raised over 4,000 for charity. Free markets in action.
Oh, brilliant. Wow.
Yeah, and I've heard things have gotten so... I got multiple emails that Gallifrey 1, which is down in LA, I'm going. It's next month, and it usually sells out pretty quick, and I'm not sure if you can get tickets now, but about 2-3 weeks ago, you could still get tickets for it. Like, there's just nobody... There's no interest, and it's just a bunch of old people now, like me, going, which is too bad. Lobo Cop 69 for 25 PLNs. Watch the thick of it, Gary, like tomorrow. Caledonian Mafia rules. Caledonian Mafia rules. Okay. I won't have time tomorrow. I'm actually getting my hair cut. It needs to happen. I'm looking a little homeless right now. Bowles Trek should get Critical Drinker to review Doctor Who again, says Mark Santos for $5.
We should get him to review this episode.
Actually, we'll start a petition. I don't know. I think Arachnids in the UK was enough for him. For anybody that doesn't know, he hadn't actually watched Doctor Who since the early Matt Smith years. So in a podcast or in a live stream last fall, I gave him the recommendation of just ignoring everything that's come since then and watch Arachnids in the UK, and that was his reintroduction, and that's where that video came from. But yeah, I might see if I can convince him to review this episode, because that would be awesome, because this is a new level of ridiculousness.
It really was. Really like worth ranting for damn near 2.5 hours, which we are going to wrap this thing up. I got to get through these super chats. Thank you for staying with me. If you guys need to go, let me know.
No, we're good. Or I'm good.
Okay.
Awesome. Mr. Miles, chief engineer for $2. Craig Ferguson as the doctor. I would take anybody as the doctor, but Craig Ferguson would be fine. And what's up, Mr. Miles? He works for Anti-Trekker. Declan Lyons for £10. This isn't the first time Doctor Who got woke. Why does no one seem to remember Ace sneaking up and beating up a Dalek with a bat? That was a terrible moment, completely making the Daleks look useless. What do you guys think of that moment?
It is, shall we say, a classic moment. Not one that has been highly regarded within the annals of Doctor Who fandom. But it is amusing to watch. I'll give it that, which is more so than anything we've gotten in the past 2 years.
And Yes, and look what happened shortly after that. So that's all you gotta.
Yeah.
I agree. Rebecca Gold for £5. This is perfect. Tom Ellis as the Doctor and Haley Atwell as Romana. I would watch that. Two strong characters in the TARDIS going on adventures. Yeah,
I would watch that. You've got your dashing young Doctor and beautiful, intelligent companion.
Romana.
Sorry, can't say companion anymore.
Oh, that's right. We can't say companion anymore.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking dead. Gary, you have to watch The Thick of It. Veep Riders for Java Bean says for Australian $2.99. Hope you're doing okay down in Australia, by the way. Thank you. I will make the time. That many recommendations. Okay. Observer Dude for £5. I came up with an idea post TNG series about Picard being elected as president of the Federation, and B4 is put on trial for kidnapping Picard. Cool. Did you write a script? Is it a fanfic? What is it? Or is it just an idea? Well, they can't keep their ideas straight with Picard because Data is dead, but the prequel comic to 2009 had him captaining the Enterprise. So I don't know. I don't know. Mark Santos for $5. Bowles Trick should get. Oh, I already read that one. Mike Coombs for £5. Gaiman as showrunner. Hell no. This all started with him. Rewatch The Doctor's Wife. He introduced the Corsair who changed gender with each regeneration. It was fine within the context of that. I mean, did that add it to canon? Probably. Yeah.
Well, we also don't know if that was him because there was a lot of interference with that script as well. So that may not have been his line.
Yeah, and Gaiman as showrunner, I don't think he would touch it. I don't think he would even touch. That's the thing. This big moment of a female Doctor. You think the classic Who writers would be stepping up. I mean, if they really wanted to be behind the female Doctor, you would get RTD, Stephen Moffat. You would get everybody back. Everybody back. Go that classic era. Get like each episode be written by a classic era Who writer to show that we're all behind this.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
They want nothing to do with it.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, Neil Gaiman could have written an episode for Doctor Who. They wouldn't have turned him down. You know, but he didn't want to. Felipe Abrigo, I think something happened between him and Moffat too.
Yeah.
5,000 Chilean dollars. Hey Gary, any chance you and DVD review The Expanse weekly? As if we were airing it weekly, as it should have been, so we can watch an episode a week ourselves and enjoy the comments after. Shine on. Felipe, I wish I could do that. But I can't though. I mean, that's dedicating time to something. I don't know. It would be fun to do. Maybe sometime later I'll do that. But I'm still in the growing phase for my channel, believe it or not. And I have a lot of stuff. I mean, I gotta set up quick. I'm boring shit. I gotta like do taxes and like maybe after all that's done, maybe. But YouTube discourages that, which sucks. You know, and also that's not just YouTube's fault. That's what the people desire. The Expanse should have released weekly. They were dumb not to do it. The Price is Right review for $2. Kapla, bro. I'm not much of a Doctor Who fan, but and I'm glad I'm not. Yes, and that's what I hear now. And that's just what we were talking about. Chumley, 73 for $2. This is very good conversation. Love the ideas. Thank you, Chumley.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Kaz Walker for 20 Canadian dollars. Hey, Gary and Bolstrek, I have a legitimately attained copy of all the reviews for all of the Star Wars movies and a few Marvel flicks. The numbers don't line up. Are you interested in looking at the data? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Where can he send it to you?
Probably just through my Twitter. Just send me a message and I'll follow you, and then you should be able to get it to me.
Yep. Kaz Walker, Gary at nerdrotic.com. Absolutely interested in it. Like, I would get to work on that today. I've got a few hours between live streams here. Jody Bowie for $5. It's totally the happening with the environment making people kill themselves and trying to show humans as bad. Sorry, Dr. Woke, you suck, says Jody Bowie for $5. I love Jody Bowie. Casey Skyfire for 77 for $9.99. what the hell did I just watch? It's like Chib stole pages from old Doctor Who scripts and made them into his own. To quote Bolstrek, Jesus Christ. Can Bolstrek just say, shut up, Chibs, please?
Okay. Well, see, now it's prompted. Just give me a second. Shut up, Chibs!
Thank you. Oh, my
I blew
God.
my voice out with that. Shut up, Chibs. Here, or how about this? You suck, woke Batman.
That's beautiful.
Hello there.
That's like music to
Wonderful.
my ears. David Garner for £1.99. Doctor Who it's not Doctor Who. We're doomed. It's Doctor We're Doomed. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I made a video and I put Doctor Who is Doomed as the title because that's how I actually felt. And I got shit for a month on that. Like it's so doomed, huh? What about those 10 million people who are watching the first episode? Is that how it's doomed, Gary?
I have a video actually with the exact same title. Yeah, it's still called Is Doomed. It's interesting comments.
Yes, yes, and I did it to trigger them. That's why I titled it that way because I knew it would trigger you guys, and I knew Bull's trick, and it worked. And then I got a month of. So how doomed is it? I am collecting all of your tweets, by the way. I've got this little thing called the screen cap function that everybody has. So I'm going to put you nice on display. I generally don't do Twitter shit, but you were all there. It was public. Yes, as Bolstrek said, has been saying for years, as I said, as Starry said, Doctor Who is doomed. It's doomed. It's fucked. It's screwed. Jodie bots are just not enough. They're just not enough. Too bad, huh? Chumley 73 for $5. Malcolm Hulk was a freaking communist, for God's sakes. He was a writer for Pertwee. He would be embarrassed by the barefaced politics in today's shows.
Yeah.
Jodie Bowie. I don't know. I was kind of always assumed that every British writer was a socialist or a communist at some point. I mean, that's just an assumption on my side. But except for Alan Moore, he's a wizard. Jodie Bowie for $2. I met Sylvester McCoy and he was so nice. He seems cool as hell.
Yep.
Love Sylvester.
And he was also not in favor of the gender change, but after seeing what happened to Peter Davison on Twitter, he decided not to address it again and then just kind of hid for a few months.
Yep. And it's we've talked about this before. The silence is deafening from the classic doctors who aren't constant. You think they would be constantly backing Jodie?
Well, except for Colin Baker, although I think even he has toned it down recently.
He has, but Sylvester McCoy, he was great in The Hobbit too, by the way.
Yeah.
El Berzadente for £10. Unlike Chibs and Whitaker, the hateful, we're not dead inside. No, we're not. Mark C for $2 says, I miss Rose. I do too. Tim Riggs, the only Big Chief action figure I do not have and will not buy is Clara, Jodie, of course. So there's two. I will not buy Clara and I will not buy Jodie. I'll buy anybody else. Tim Riggs for $10. BBC is in for a rude awakening this decade. If they really want to branch out further into the Anglosphere, garbage won't sell, and they won't be getting license fees from anywhere but the UK. Yeah, exactly. So I don't. You tell me, Starry. As far as you're only paying a tax on your television, right? So you can watch streaming services on your computer and not pay a license fee, correct?
It depends what you're streaming.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
God. That is crazy.
It didn't used to be like that, but they quickly added it.
Yeah,
people are getting around it.
I think there's partially BBC owned content on Amazon and Netflix. So I think that's their dirty trick. If you watch any of those shows, I was doing some researching. I think you have to pay the license fee, which is just extortion because you're paying for it twice.
Yeah.
But then just stop watching the BBC. You can watch other shit for free. I would just watch that. So you're disincentivizing people from watching the BBC at this point. And I don't know. I was talking to Bulls Trek hasn't seen, but I'm sure you will. Dracula. I saw the first 2 episodes. Not very impressed. Not very impressed. It had potential. It had great potential, but Dad Bod Dracula did not impress me.
I've not watched it yet. I was excited about it because obviously it's Moffat and Gatiss, but then I watched his Dark Materials and War of the Worlds, and that kind of put me off.
Yeah,
so
and it's very
I'm on the
similar.
fence about it.
So I'm gonna look up I'm sorry, I don't know my Bram Stoker. Jonathan Harker is in the first episode, and they try to follow a little bit the main novel. And Lady Van Helsing asks him within the first minute of the episode, asks Jonathan Harker if he had sexual intercourse with Dracula. That's how you take off. Did you have sexual intercourse with Dracula? And that's how they go into the credits. I'm like, fuck. I mean, like, listen, I've already Dracula would be gay. He would screw anything. If you're 500 years old, you're gonna dip it in anything. That's fine. But the way it was just try hard. There were great moments in it's shot beautifully. The camera work in this thing and the editing is like, and the visual effects are great. They have some zombie effects that are just freaking fantastic. It looks like they put a bunch of money in this thing. The castle was cool as hell. But there's moments it takes 1 step forward and 2 steps back. People who watched it I know some people liked it. I liked the first episode more than I liked the second episode, who had Sacha Dhawan in it because he's in everything. But yeah, I not overall. I have not seen the third episode, and I heard it takes like just a terrible turn in that. So, Matt G, can't wait till this is episode. I can't wait to watch this till after the episode. But hail all. Okay, and remember, it's going to be on Nerdrotic Live. It's going to be on or hang on to the link. No comment here, but here's some money. Thanks, Cracklin. Justin Norris, does Force lightning travel the same speed as normal lightning? If so, Palpy would have blown his face off in a nanosecond with no time to react. That's a good point. But we're dealing with Jar Jar Abrams logic here. All right, so we have reached the end. If I missed any super chats, I will make up for them on the Nooner. Baptist emailed me today. I missed a super chat from Friday Night Tights, so I will get it on Monday. So quickly, because these people have lives. Bulls Trek, please plug your channel.
Hello, everyone. If you like listening to a happy YouTuber that never complains about anything, has always positive, doesn't swear, doesn't use sarcasm, and woke as hell. We love the wokeness. Praise the Church of Woke. Then go to youtube.com/BullsTrek, BOWLESTREK, and it'll be a fun time. And occasionally I have a talking goat. He might make an appearance soon.
That I look forward to that. I really do.
He's been collecting comments.
We love the goat.
Starry, would you want to plug anything, like any appearances? You have a Twitter, right? So
I do have a Twitter. Yeah, you can follow me at Starry Eyed Girl. I've got 2 shows coming up on the Type 40 podcast, which is on the Fandom Podcast Network. And you can find that on Apple, on the Podbean app, on Spotify. I'll be posting a link on my page as well. Hopefully, I'm going to be talking to Doomcock at some point. But you know what he's like. He's so busy, with his plans to take over the world. It's just...
Yep.
But fingers crossed, because I can't wait to see what his take is on this tonight.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I know he was like all of us, he's like kind of just like, I want to be done with this. I know Bulls Trek, you were going to go through the whole season. I wasn't. I was about to like jump off. I was about to go, fuck this, I can't do it. But I have to. I'm going to stick with it. So I don't know how great the videos are going to be. And I don't think the one for this one is going to, I'm not going to like break down everything from the plot. I'll just because I would have to watch it again, and I don't want to watch this one again. I just
Good.
don't.
I'm still, as long as I can, I'm going full woke Batman on this stuff, because I said I was going to stop covering Doctor Who after series 12, but then the lovely Twitterites were celebrating a bit too much. So as I've said, I am covering this until the end.
Nice.
So you have nobody to thank for this but yourselves.
Yep. And the world is better for it, quite frankly. I'm glad you
Yes.
changed your mind. I would have tried my very best to talk you out of that. So good. I'm glad. Awesome. I don't want to do this alone.
Yeah, well, there's still four or five of us covering it.
Yes, there is. So we have Matrix Lord out there. We have Noel. Is there anybody else we should plug? Noel at the TARDIS Zone.
I don't think is SC Reviews doing Doctor Who this year. I don't think he is. I think even he's dropped it.
Clownfish TV is covering it. They're great.
Yeah.
But in future live streams, if anybody wants to DM me on Twitter, or if you're covering Doctor Who, you want to shout out, just contact me. Okay. Because we want to get the word out, because quite frankly, nobody cares about the show except for the people who can't stand it. So,
yep.
All right. Looking at that glorious 5%, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We have one more super chat at the end. Here we go. For $5, we have Chumley703. After spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Who merchandise, I and all of you are now considered the enemy. How does that make you feel? Bulls Trek?
How I'm the enemy? Well, what I can say to these people is, I'm going to swear again, Gary.
Go ahead.
Fuck you. I have been watching this show for 40 years. I've been a fan for 40 years. I was a fan during the wilderness years. I have spent God knows how much money on books, audio adventures, VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays. I also brought the BBC. I know for a fact I made them a lot of money off of my DVD reviews. I think at one point I even had them linked to purchase them. So if you're going to say that we don't matter, well, I'm going to say once again, sorry, Gary, fuck you. You could say that we don't have any ownership of the show. No, actually, the long-term fans do.
Yep.
This show would never have come back if not for us. We waited for 16 years minus a somewhat lackluster, but with a great Doctor, Canadian-made movie. But no, we clamored for this show to come back, and then you brush us aside and call us the things that you've been calling us. So once again, my message to those people, the trigger warning, bad words, shove it up your fucking asses, you worthless pieces of shit. And that is my final take on the situation.
Yep.
Sorry for the anybody that doesn't like the potty mouth.
That's okay. No, I'm angry. So, Starry, how does that make you feel?
Well, considering that I am paying for this, I do feel like I do have some ownership.
Yeah, you literally do have ownership, because you have to pay for it whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I'm very angry because as you know, I have two boys, and their role model has now been taken away. And I love the Doctor because he is one of the few role models, that doesn't rely on super strength and weapons all the time. He uses his wits, so he used to. And it's crap. And they don't want boys anymore. They don't want men anymore.
It's counterintuitive, Starry. I mean, they want boys to be more thoughtful. At least that's what the old line was. Be more thoughtful. Don't jump to violence. Well, you're right. This was this role model, one that I was excellent for my children. And I'm angry about it because it was a nah. We took something away. That's exactly what it was. There was nothing deeper than that.
Nope. Well, like I said, this has been an upgrade. That's exactly what they were saying.
That shit. Exactly. And I, like you, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on collectibles. my comic shop had the largest Doctor Who section in Northern California for years. It's not a small area, okay? And for a while, I was the only one who had a Doctor Who section that would carry a bunch of stuff. I actually worked out a deal with somebody in the UK to get stuff that you couldn't get here. That's because I love the show. I didn't even make that much money off it, but it made a bunch of fans, and we had a large group here that would just love the show. That's all gone now. You took it all away. You burned through all that for what? Your stupid initiative. Great. Well done. You're not going to have anything to push your initiative through anymore. So you need to think about these things, but they don't. Fender Strat for £2 says only have to pay for live TV. Okay. It's still bad that you got to pay for it, but
yeah. Or isn't it live TV? I don't know. I don't even think the BBC is actually clear themselves on what this cover. I think it's just on a ad hoc, what we feel like basis. Yeah, but
it's live TV, and then the BBC sits all the catch up, the iPlayer.
Okay, yeah, so that online stuff. I don't know. We don't pay for that here. We have cable, which I haven't had in a couple years. But yeah, for everybody on this side of the pond, the whole concept of the license fee is just, I don't have a word for it. Moronic, criminal, extortionate.
Yep. Yeah.
All of them.
It's theft. It's fucking theft. Yep. And you're paying for propaganda at this point. So everybody, thanks for joining us. We had over 2,000 people the whole time. So that is fantastic. Oh, wow. And I really appreciate you guys. We got over 1,000 likes. We got a new member. Ooh. And I appreciate you all. Again, this will be over on Nerdrotic Live once it's done. Please subscribe to Bull's Trek. He's a friend, a great member of the Fandom Menace, and a great YouTuber. And until next time, everyone, I got to end this with a Lord of the Rings saying, but not all who wander are lost.